Today's Poker Live podcast, you're going to discover how to be a better businessman, how to be better at the great game of Pop in Omaha, how to be better at tournaments, at live reads, and how to be better at staking people. So hopefully you don't buy packages with super high markup this summer, and hopefully you don't buy Daniel Negreanu's package that he just listed on his Instagram page that he's selling for a little markup. He's selling at little markup there. So go check that out if you want to, guys. Welcome, Poker Live Podcast. Joey Germone, aka Chicago Joey here, back podcasting. We're going hard, guys. This week's Chip Leader Coaching Week, sponsored week on the podcast. 3 podcasts we do it. Yesterday, we had on Alex Foxen. Tomorrow, we have on Daniel Strelitz. And today, we're having on the co-founder of Chip Leader Coaching. And Chip Leader Coaching, guys, they want to promote their upcoming World Series of Poker boot camp. They're trying to help you guys get better for the World Series of Poker. I know a lot of you guys need it. Y'all probably going to lose a lot of money. Let's be real for a second. That's coming up May 9th, a free boot camp, 5 coaches. Links in the description below, including in the coaches is yesterday's podcast guest, Alex Foxen. And if you listen to the man talk, I want to hear everything this guy has to say when it comes to trying to get better at tournaments. But let me get the introduction today, guys. Joining me on the podcast today is a young man. This guy knows a lot about a lot, man. Plays PLO, plays tournaments, plays cash games, plays any sort of app site. I think he plays every fucking poker site, to be honest with you guys. Also co-founder, Chip Leader Coaching, businessman, stakes infinite number. I don't even know how many people this guy stakes. Sometimes he walks around the series, and maybe he can explain that later. A husband, a friend, one of the nicest guys in poker. I think this guy is one of the people that people in poker like the most. I think that makes sense. Also, allegedly a master of the live reads, and you guys know how some people feel about the whole live read situation, but we're going to talk more about that. We got Chance Kornuth in the house. What's up, Chance? Welcome back to the podcast, bro.
Hey, thanks, Joey. Happy to be here.
How was that intro? Did I hit everything that I was trying to hit there for the introduction of yourself? I feel like I missed something because you do quite a lot.
I can't imagine. I mean, there's a lot there. I feel like you hit it pretty good.
What's the main focus right now? I think it's probably businessman, coach, staker. This is a lot of focuses. Businessman, coach, staker, tournaments.
One of the biggest focuses I have right now is working out, actually. Like, I wake up every morning at 4:45 at the high school at 6 a.m. for 90 minutes. Then I go to the chiropractor, and then I actually start with all of the other stuff you mentioned.
What are you, Doug Polk? What are you a fitness expert now or something like that? Doug Polk, notorious for going away from content and just becoming a fitness expert. And now he lost about 55 pounds. So you have this $100K workout prop bet. Do you want to tell the people about your $100,000 workout prop bet? Because I'm sure a lot of people out there would love to get paid $100,000 to get in shape.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty incredible opportunity, but I could lose $100K too. So I was in Florida and I was, drinking and partying a little bit in a 1K or something. And I had broken the seal. So I was running back to the poker tournament and I was huffing and puffing. I was out of breath. And a businessman at the table named Paul Dobb, he's like, "Hey, Chance, you're way too young to be this out of shape." And we laugh a little bit. I cry a little bit. And then we get to talking. He's like, "I got an idea. Let's bet $100K or whatever amount you want. I pick 10 exercises, you pick 10 exercises. We choose 4 from each other's list, and we compete at the 8. And so in late July, we're going to be competing at these 8 exercises for $100K.
Okay, that sounds like there's a good chance you might lose this prop bet. Okay, so
yeah.
What are the 8 workouts that you guys are training for this prop bet?
The 8 workouts, and I'll say them in the order that we're actually going to be doing them, is swim a half mile. Double unders, jump roping, like max reps in 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. Hand release push-ups. So when you get to the ground, you have to take your hands off the ground to constitute a new reps. You can't bounce off your springiness in your body. Max reps in 2 minutes. Toes to bars, where you hang on the pull-up bar and you get your toes to touch. Race to 50 for time. Bike 10 miles. 65-pound thrusters, max in 2 minutes. GHD sit-ups, which is where your legs are kind of locked parallel. And you swing back, touch the floor, touch your toes, swing back, and that's max in 1 minute. And then there's a balsam agility test, best out of 3.
That sounds easy, and by easy I mean that does not sound easy at all. So wait, how long do you have to prepare? When did the bet officially take place?
The conversation happened last fall, but we didn't I was still not being a good version of myself and like, you know, drinking too much and partying too much. But then about 2.5 months ago, I got on this workout kick and I've greatly reduced my drinking. I have like a no drinking bet with a good friend of mine, but like if it's someone's birthday or there's like a good occasion, I can buy 3 drinks for $100. So like I'll buy out occasionally. I think I own like $1,000 right now from buyouts, but it's been quite the journey. It's been really fun to see like the body transformations and fat loss and stuff like that.
This sounds pretty. Is the other guy in shape? Is he similarly out of shape, or what's? Because
so it's kind of the opposite.
Not a lot of time to train for this, because these are different workouts, different body parts, different things that you.
So Paul's actually like a 60, maybe 61-year-old man, but he does like triathlons. So he's in like the top 0.1% of 60-year-olds. But I still think that if I work hard enough, I can find a way to win. So we'll see what happens.
Where is this happening?
it's going to be in Vegas at like one of the gyms here, probably.
Okay, I got to be present for some part of this, because you said the guy does triathlons, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get odds?
No, just my age.
Yeah. Someone said I'm tired. I'm already tired just listening to the 10 exercises. This is all going to take place in one continuous day.
Yeah. So there's like if it's off his list, like swimming, push-ups, biking, and GHD sit-ups, he goes first. So I have like position, if you will. And then if it's off my list, I go first. And then the time between exercises is 10 minutes. And the time between us going is 5 minutes. So it's going to be pretty like strenuous back and forth.
Wow. I mean, listen, I take a lot of prep bets chance, but this one sounds pretty. The guy's a triathlon.
I didn't know that when I accepted the bet, to be quite honest.
What do you mean you didn't know he's a you didn't decide, you didn't want to ask that? Like, hey, do you do any sort of exercises for
well, I mean, visually he was in really good shape, but like, I mean, this is a situation where like we're training to push our body to the limit. And I'm just, I talked to a friend of mine, actually, Daniel Anderson's husband, Corey, and he's the strength and conditioning coach at the high school that's right by me conveniently. And that's where I go train in the morning. And he said that like, it doesn't matter if this guy's in this good a shape. Like, we're going to choose exercises on your list that you have a strategic advantage to. For example, toes to bars, like he's a lot longer and heavier than I am. So for him to get his toes to the bar is going to require more energy and work. And work equals force times distance, or something like that. And so just the fact that he's heavier and has to move further, it should be harder for him. And so we're kind of focusing on the physics aspects of it and trying to strategize the best way to work as hard as possible.
So is it what if it goes 5-5? So he wins 5, you win 5.
8 exercises total, but 4-4. We've discussed doing a rematch or like a tiebreaker. But if we tie, I would love to do a rematch. I think that the longer this training goes on, like I feel like my ceiling for fitness should be higher than his, just from a pure age perspective. And so I would love to do a rematch, a month after that or something like that, if he would. But like, even if I lose this $100,000, like, yeah, it would really suck, and I might have to wait to do my backyard in my new house a little bit longer. But I think that it's changed my life for the better in so many ways that it would definitely be worth $100,000.
There's got to be a solver for this type of situation. Maybe the ones he goes first, you like talk a lot of shit and you say, all right, I've been ready to do this. Like the ones that'll tire him out the most. So you're like, let's go. And then he goes out and you just go out there and all right, you got this one. And then you go to the next one. So that way because you got to conserve that energy. He's probably got a lot more stamina than you built up. So you're kind of like, I mean, I don't know if I think maybe that might be GTO for one of the things, kind of figure out what's the one he's going to exert the most energy on. Get him to go. Hopefully he goes first in that one. He tires himself out, hopefully, from that one. And then you say, all right, let's go. I'm up for the next one. So that might be an idea. Because plus, 1, he gets less recovery time. And 2, you don't get tired out in that situation.
Yeah. For example, on swimming, he goes, then I go, and then I go straight to double unders. And so the rest time between that direction, I have less rest time, and the rest time in the other direction, I have more rest. And so there is a lot of strategy as far as that goes. But I don't want to really say my exact strategy for the event, just because I think that's where I'm going to be able to find a victory, is through pure strategizing. And so I don't want him to think too much about it.
Is this the money in escrow for this situation, or is because like what if you do the bet and then you don't get paid from the prop? Is this like something where to make this with a 60? I mean, what's the stipulation on that?
I'm under the impression that he has quite a bit of money. And actually, if I lose, it goes to his charity that he founded called the Visual Snow Initiative. His daughter has a neurological disorder where, like, like the difference between like standard definition and high definition is just like pretty incredible. So imagine going back the other direction where like a TV in like the 90s or whatever, where it's just super staticky. And then imagine that whether your eyes are opened or closed, that's what life looks like to you. You just see static and spots and like, you just have no relief from it, whether your eyes are open or closed. Like it sounds just like, I mean, I can't even fathom like something like that. And so I think that it's a really good cause. And I also think that one of the reasons he wanted to do it is to bring awareness to this disease. Or not disease, sorry, disorder.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. That people in the chat said, what about getting people to view the challenge? Can there be tickets for the thing? Or is it going to be a live stream? Everyone live streams everything these days in 2019. So will there be a stream for this or anything like that?
I'm sure that someone there would be willing to do that. We haven't really gotten to that bridge yet, but it's pretty likely that it'll be streamed or recorded.
Man, I was on your Instagram page, bro. I didn't see any you in the gym with the shirt off, like training hard. You got to be getting in this guy's head, Chance. What's going on? Listen, bro, you got to be getting in this guy's head. What I would be doing is I would send him a video of myself in the gym every day at 6:45, shirt off, sweat pouring down my body, water pouring on me. Just, let's go. Coming for you, son. Like something like Hulk Hogan.
Why? So he works harder?
I mean, it's a good point. You go both ways.
I mean, I've told friends and stuff, but I haven't made any posts about working out or like the gains that I've made, just because I think that, hopefully Paul's not watching this, but I think that motivation is a really big factor. And, he's running a pretty big company and like has a life and hopefully is not taking this as seriously as I am.
Maybe what if you send him pictures of you like smoking or like with a bunch of drinks and you're sort of like, hey, Paul, what's up, man? I'm ready for the prop bet, like something like that. What if we take this the other route then?
I sent him a picture of some nice fried chicken and waffles about a month ago. Just like, hey, man, thinking about our bet. How's it going?
Yeah, I would just send him. Yeah, he's watching this on the treadmill. Jay Smith says, yeah, he's actually running. He's in the chat. He said he's running 25 miles right now as he watches this. So I don't know if this reverse psychology sort of I'm not training is going to work for my man, Paul, but this sounds like a fun prop bet, man. And as you said, yeah, it sounds like it's going for a good cause either way if you do lose. But at the same time, also, you eliminate some of those habits that you have. I do know I forgot to say this in the introduction. A man that likes to get out of line. My buddy Kornuth over here.
That is the truth. I love the party, man.
I forgot to include that one, but
yeah.
I mean, so do you feel like overall you wanted to clean your lifestyle up a little bit, and this was that extra motivation that you needed to do it?
Yeah, like when I injured my ankle like a while ago, I just got very complacent, gained a bunch of weight, and then injured it again once I started getting back into working out, and then I got complacent again. And I always use the example of Steven Chidwick just because like he really is the best version of himself. Like he's fit, he's calm, he's cool, he's collected. And so I've wanted to be a better version of myself for quite some time. And this was definitely the motivating factor that I needed.
So when you say you want to be a better version of yourself, meaning why do you think it's better for yourself to cut out the drinking or smoking weed or anything like that? How do you think that manifests itself into what your current goals are, what your current focuses are right now in your life?
Well, one of the biggest benefits that I've noticed from working out is like mental clarity. Like my ability to think through things, articulate my thoughts, especially in the coaching realm. And like right now, CLC is developing like products and I'm the one creating them. And so it's really important for me to be at my best in order to make the content as good as possible. And like, there's also just so much on my plate right now between running a company, running the CLC stable, just like working out, being a husband, like it's just so much to do. And, with drinking and smoking, it makes it a lot more difficult. And so like, I do occasionally smoke at night still. And I do, to have some drinks with some friends occasionally. But the 1 to 3 glasses of wine at dinner, has been one of the biggest changes.
Yeah. You love wine, buddy.
Wine and food, man. It just goes so nice.
feel like every time I see you, you've been drinking wine in the past. Like, I'm not even an exaggeration. Every time I think I've seen you, you have a glass of wine. The teeth got a little red going on there. You got a little redder on the lips. So,
yeah,
I mean, this is a pretty serious change. But you mentioned, so obviously Chip Leader Coaching, this is a new project, new business for you guys. You have the official stable. Now you're working on products. And you're sort of realizing something I started to realize is that I had all these bad habits built up from playing poker because that's all I was doing. But then when you take on a business, then when you want to talk, you're talking to more people, you're managing more people, you're more focused on relationships with your friends and with your wife. Something has to go. You can't have all those things on your mind. It's just, I feel like it's impossible to do those things at a high level. And when you're doing the things you're doing, you got to be doing it at a high level. Otherwise, I mean, people are going to call you out on it, whether it comes to staking, when it comes to the coaching aspect of things, or your wife's going to call you out on it. People are going to call you out on it. So it seems like maybe you're getting to that age now where you're like, all right, I want to excel more at the business side of things. And I just have to get rid of this. I have to do it.
Yeah, and like when you do have so many like irons in the fire, sort of projects that you're working on, like obviously there are limited amount of time in the day. And so like, it's really difficult for me or for my wife and I to like find time to spend together. Mm-hmm. And like, fortunately she's understanding that like, okay, he needs to, build the products right now, needs to work out. And so it definitely like helps the fact that she's understanding, but like, working hard in these other areas, like you always lose time for other stuff. Like I don't hang out with my friends nearly as much as I did 3 months ago. Don't, like last night, I could have easily gone and, have drinks at Bemba's house and watch the overtime there. Instead, we stayed at home, and so it's like, there's been a lot of changes and other areas of my life that have, I guess, weakened because of it, but they're positive changes in general. And then once the bet is done, I would like to find more balance again, like, cause I do enjoy partying and spending time with friends. Like it's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. Shout out to Emily, your lovely wife. And I think seems like she got some good friends here. Rachel's here as well. I know she hangs out with Rachel a lot. They're always doing some girl out of line things. Who knows what they're up to when it comes to drinking, when it comes to being in the mansions you guys have built for yourselves over there down in South Vegas. You guys don't know, Chance got a new place down in Vegas. So I live on the Strip, and Chance, they're living the suburb life. Ben Lamb, suburb life. Shane, suburb life. They all got their golf carts and their fucking 7 cars and the modified backyards going on over there and stuff like that.
It's a little excessive, but like this is actually the first house I've ever purchased, and I would be very content staying here forever. It's like we're so happy here, like we're really enjoying, like, for lack of better terminology, like the country club life. Like we joined the tennis team, we're picking up golf, and like it's really fun. We love all the neighbors here. Like everyone just has their shit together, and it's really cool to surround yourself with like successful people outside of poker as well, because they just have so much to offer in life in general.
Have you gotten berated for drinking expensive wine on Twitter yet, or was that just was Ben Lamb the only one caught up in that, or were you caught up in this too? And I'm not aware of this.
Our group chat found it very entertaining and almost to the point of like trolling the people who are complaining about it. Like, if you want to show off, like that's who you are. Like it's totally acceptable. Like if you want to show off, I don't care, man. Do your own thing. Like the fact that people want to get mad because someone's showing nice wine, like who cares?
Yeah, they better not see Ben in the private jets or in the games he plays in. They're gonna get real fucking pissed off then too if they're gonna get mad about the $2K bottle of wine.
Yeah, I mean, like I fly commercial, like coach all the time. Like one time I was on a private jet, I immediately took pictures and posted it. Like, who cares?
Yeah, I don't even know. I didn't follow that too closely. I just saw something like I can't remember who even got outraged by this, but I was like, this is an interesting take to be outraged by, because there's so many people out there doing flashy things or flossing it up or stunting it up or whatever you want to call it like that. And I mean, you're going to get mad at that. What aren't you getting mad about? If that's what you're going to get upset about, you know what I'm saying?
You should just sit there on Dan Bilzerian's feed and talk shit to him all day. Like, who cares?
Right. Refresh Bill's every picture. Fuck you, asshole. 10 girls today? You really need 10 women? It's like, well, no, he doesn't need 10. I'm like, what do you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I just found that kind of fascinating. But so right now, how much poker are you playing? Because I know you love playing the great game of Pop in Omaha, and I know you love playing tournaments. You love playing online. You just love poker in general. So where's poker? Because right now you named a bunch of things, and we haven't mentioned poker yet at all.
I play it currently just for the last couple of months, only about 1 to 1.5, 2 days a week, like mostly just the Sunday grind across like WSOP.com and, the ACR, et cetera. And sometimes I travel and I'll play on like party poker and like all this stuff and won't play on WSOP. But poker is definitely taking a back seat. And I'm so excited for the World Series when it rolls around, just because it gets to take the front seat again. Like it is something that I enjoy, but taking this reduced grind time, I guess, has really renewed my appreciation for how much I enjoy playing the game and the great game as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got, I feel like certain people, you can tell when they really like playing, when they like talking to people, when they like being at the table, when they like communicating and just having a great time. And I think you're one of those guys that comes to mind for myself. Normally, you got the flashy aviators on. They got them little silver on there. You can't really see what fuck is going on in there. You're laughing at the table. You're playing 85% of your hands pre-flop. So it's
that's pretty accurate all around, actually.
You're talking to the fun players. You're talking to the regulars. I mean, listen, I feel like there's a, you have a very unique table presence that I think many people out there do enjoy being around and being around that sort of social vibe instead of the drudgeries of wanting to fucking kill yourself when you're at the table because things are going bad. You're on a downswing, you got the hood down, the hoodie's up. You're just like, oh man, what are you doing? I'm just firing away, man. I'm going to go fire a 3-bullet, bust this tournament. I feel like you go into it with a much more positive mindset, which is probably a big reason why you've been able to expand your reach out to these other things and also have success with them. Is just the mindset that you go into these things with.
Yeah, but I also think that I got lucky because naturally I am kind of an extrovert. I think that the average poker player probably weights a lot closer to the introverted side of the scale. And so like, I like people. I like interacting with people. I also understand that, certain people are there to have fun, and you have to know people's motivation for why they're there. Like if I'm at a table full of regs and everyone wants to be super serious, like I can do that as well. And, when I was playing some of the stuff at Aria, the high roller series there not too long ago, like I wasn't as personable. It's just trying to stay in the zone and make my best poker decisions. But I think that, when someone's there to have fun, it's kind of our job as like the main characters in this poker world to make sure they have fun. Like if you're going to be the person they see every time and you're a dick to them, they're not going to want to come back. Like they have different motivation than we do. Like they're playing, say, a 5K buy-in. They know that they're probably losing some money on that 5K for the long run, but they enjoy it. They're well off in other aspects of life, and this is a recreational activity for them. And just because we're professionals at this game doesn't mean that, one of the things about being a professional is catering to the regs. So.
Yeah, I'm very new to the live poker scene, but that's something I try to do. But at the same time, I do sometimes go through spurts where I don't say a word, whether I'm tired or I'm annoyed or I want to punch somebody's fucking lights out at the table because they don't shut the fuck up. So there are times like that where I'm not in that mood to deal with some bullshit from drunk Dan over here who won't shut up and keeps making all these hands and then stacks me. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm not ready to have a good time with Dan. I'm not ready. And I've had a few times like that happen at live poker, especially at PLO tables. You know how these PLO games get, man. They get
a lot of variance. Well, I'm not invincible. Like there's a lot of times where I have headphones and no music and just the noise cancel mode on, and I can hear them, but I just pretend I don't. Like I just don't want to talk to anyone certain days, and like that's fine too. But
yeah, you mentioned a good point about being an introvert, and that's something I remind myself of too, because I don't know what I am. I feel like I'm an extrovert. I think most people would say that, but at the same time, I like being alone. I like sort of not talking to other people sometimes, but I also love talking to people. I'm not sure where I fall, but a lot of people, poker players that are successful that we know, are not social creatures. Chance, they're keeping themselves. When you have a conversation with them, they just don't talk a lot. So they probably want to be better at conversation, but they don't really know how because they haven't put the reps in, and it's just not their thing. So
you said reps. I do think it's about practice.
Right.
Like, I mean, I haven't always been the person I am today. Like I used to, be in social circles and be a lot quieter. But I think that it is about putting in those reps and like practicing your ability to converse. And like, I don't know, have you seen Free Solo?
I have not seen Free Solo, but only 10 people have said I should see Free Solo because I would want to. Maybe I should get the guy on the podcast. That I do want to watch that. I really want to watch it.
Well, I thought he was like a super interesting person and like introverted in a lot of ways. Like he taught himself to eat vegetables, and he said he systematically like had himself eat vegetables and taught himself how to hug people. And like, it's like you do have to teach yourself these different skills just because like, we all get different values and skills from our childhood, but certain things are lacking. And sometimes it's that ability to converse with others. And it just takes practice.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Something I've been thinking about lately is, why was my diet so poor growing up, and why do I still not know how to have relationships to a successful degree in a lot of ways? I think a lot of that goes back to how I was raised by my family and by my mother, was that I was given McDonald's and Doritos and candy and gummy, all this stuff nonstop. And there was no YouTube for me to self-teach myself a lot of these things. So growing up, I just didn't learn a lot of things that I've had to now learn as I've gotten older, including eating vegetables and why that's good for you, why not drinking Pepsi 17 cans a day is bad for you. Because these are things you trust your parents growing up, and when your parents give you a Pepsi every meal, you think, well, Pepsi's got to be good, right? When you give you McDonald's when you're hungry, you assume McDonald's got to be good, and then you grow up and maybe a Big Mac and Chicken McNugget and a McFlurry, maybe that's not the GTO meal for me to be having. But how would you know that if you're not taught that by your parents?
Yeah, nutritional education is definitely like a big thing. My mom wasn't the best cook, and my parents were divorced from a young age. But my dad, it was like, we're gonna grill a meat on the grill, and then we're gonna open a can of vegetables, and that's a round meal. Like that was it. And so when I got to college and I started to cook for myself, it was kind of a little educational process as well.
TK Student says, why is Joey returning these interviews and talking about himself half the time? Listen, this is a fucking conversation, TQ. All right. If you want to interview, go watch the other poker podcasts out there where they interview. Hello, Chance. What's your name? Yeah. Okay. Where are you from? All right. What's your main thing? This is a talk between people. That's why I have people on I typically know, because we're having a conversation. We catch up with each other. We learn about each other. You guys learn about us. You learn about the guest. You learn about myself. Everyone has a good day. Everyone tries to enjoy themselves, TQ, all right?
I mean, if they're lucky, we'll get some out-of-line stories from the man, the myth, the legend.
I don't want to talk. You know what? Maybe I'm going to take TQ's advice. Let me talk more about the guest and talk about myself. I haven't told many of the out-of-line stories, surprisingly enough, Chance, but...
I think last time I was on your podcast, we did a couple, but I don't remember.
Well, we were also drinking wine in a hotel room in Navarra, so there was... It was a nice special place there. So
it's a good transition.
Yeah, definitely, man. I guess you've been coaching a lot of people, right? How many people are we currently working with over at Chip Leader Coaching right now?
So we have 6 or 7 coaches, 7 coaches, 6 other than myself, and we have about 100 students currently.
Huh? What? 100?
Yeah.
What?
Like 100 current people that get like one-on-one and group coaching.
100.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a lot.
Do you think it would be more or less?
Less? What are you talking about?
Okay.
I can barely coach 4 people. How are you coaching 100?
Well, I mean, we all have our own groups, like I have, a group of 12 or something like that. And so I'm definitely able to find time for everyone. But like, there's a lot of people that apply that want coaching, but they either don't play enough. And since we don't charge an hourly, they don't necessarily qualify. And that's actually one of the reasons that we're spending so much time creating products right now, is because we do have a lot of information that we'd like to share with people, but it's difficult to do so when like people aren't playing enough, but they still want to improve as well. So
Chance, what's the biggest thing you see coaching that people out there could use to work on?
Not defending their actions. Like when I see hands and I'm like, well, this is bad. I'm like, well, I was thinking this, and I'm like, I know what you're thinking, and you've said it 3 times now, but like, I'm telling you, this is probably the way you should think about that hand. And like, I do try to like be open-minded when students are asking questions, because it is important to hear their perspective, because thinking outside the box and taking in the information that you have at the table is one of the biggest keys to success in poker. But oftentimes I'm like, well, I think that you should approach this hand this way. And they just like fight me on it over and over. And it's like, if you're paying someone for coaching, you should probably let them coach you. And so that's like the biggest thing I see.
So do you think that comes from, like, where do you think that comes from? Because I think that happens. I feel like I've had that happen a small number of times, but it seems like most people are pretty open-minded. But I guess a trait of a good poker player is also they are a little stubborn sometimes too. Is that they believe in themselves, they believe in their strategy, But I do find that a little strange that they would be getting coaching, but then fighting back that much on a certain strategy or certain topic or idea.
Yeah, I guess I want to change my answer to that being the most tilting thing about it.
Okay.
But the biggest issue is people don't work hard enough. Like, we actually know how often they log into the members area on the site and watch, like, we have 500 videos on there now, or 600. And we know that 90% of the students never log on, never show up for group sessions, aren't active in the Discord chat, don't schedule one-on-ones. Like, you ask how we have 100 students, it's because half of them never schedule a one-on-one. And so they're just in here to maybe watch a video or occasionally pop in a group lesson, but they just don't work hard enough. And, after listening to Foxen's podcast with you yesterday, like, complacency and like staying focused and working hard on your game, no matter how much success you have, is one of the most important things. And if these people want to get better, you can't just join CLC. You still have to work hard.
Yeah, I think some people might think coaching is this sort of, all right, I'm a part of the organization, I'm getting coaching, voila, I'm going to be better now, I'm going to have more results. But yeah, I don't think it doesn't really work that way. You got to still put in those reps and hours and time away from the table, not just when you're not when you're with the coach, but still with that content, especially if you're going to be a part of the program, then you should embrace and take advantage of it. But I mean, that's a common thing. We all have access to these training materials all over the internet. And how much are poker players actually studying these materials?
Yeah, I mean, like, before we started CLC, like, I was at a huge lull in my training. And I mean, I've learned so much from the other coaches that it's like really fun to hear different perspectives on things. And well, even Foxen now obviously coaches us more than we coach him. But it's just really fun to hear different perspectives, because, like, we were talking about a hand recently and everyone just kind of talked about, oh, I would fold here, I would fold here. And then Foxen comes in and is like, I would raise here. And we were like, I never even considered that, but it actually works really well. And so I think that just keeping an open mind is definitely a key to success as well.
So when you're working with students like that, what like, can you get rid of the students, or is it some sort of contract they have where they're locked in for a certain amount of time, or sort of how does that work? Because if I'm with students and they're not working, I'm just not working with them anymore. So, but in this situation, it's obviously a little different. So what's that process like?
Yeah, they have the ability to, like, leave. The free roll percent stays on for a month or two. That way people can't just, like, join and then quit right before the World Series, for example. So it's there to protect us. And we also have the right to, hey, you said you play this much a month and you haven't played a tournament in 3 months, so we're going to ask you to leave. We've kicked out very few people. Oftentimes it's like a friendly reminder that their volume needs to be higher or something like that. But there's things in place to protect us as the business and them as the clients.
What about the backlash out there, Chance? People say the idea of coaching for profit is not good for the students who are signing the contract away and giving away that percentage to someone like CLC.
Well, we think that, like, the percentage is like 5, 6.5, and 8, depending on what group you're in. And we truly believe that it's very easy to increase your ROI by more than that number. Like, these leaks that people have are so glaring that it could cost them 10 to 50% in ROI in some of these, like, live tournaments. And, like, for online, if we were to start an online program, the fee structure would be considerably lower because the edges are smaller. But in live tournaments, like, I mean, you can have 50 to 300% ROI in some of these, like, random WPT mains and stuff. And so, like, paying a small percentage of that, we think is definitely worth it. Like, I truly believe that anyone who's been in CLC that has actually worked hard has gotten more out of it than they put into it.
Yeah, I think, do you have conversations with people? Do people sort of approach you about this often and question kind of the business model?
Actually, we get more compliments on the business model, I guess, from business people per se. But from, like, players, they're definitely, like, kind of apprehensive about it sometimes, because they do see that, it's, what if I have a score right away and I clear my contract in a week with very little coaching? I'm like, well, then you still get the coaching. You just pay for it on the front end instead of the back end. And so I think that a lot of people who do have a problem with it are just kind of short-sighted. Like, I have a 20% ROI in this tournament, paying 5%, that's 25% of my profits. Okay, well, get your ROI to 50 or 100. We can help you do that. And so, like, if you look at the bigger picture and try your best to not be short-sighted, it's a lot of, people have finished their contract and rejoined. So, I mean, they definitely see a lot of benefits from it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be something that's for some people. Some people like it. Some people mentally can handle it. Some people are going to embrace it. They're going to work hard. They're going to put that effort in. They're going to take advantage of the opportunities that they have, and they're going to excel, and they're going to come back. And there's going to be some people who don't work hard, who complain about it or don't fucking like it, and then they move on. And then I that's sort of how it is, I think, with something like this. So I think for certain players, it's going to be a great benefit. And I'm sure there's certain people in CLC right now who experience that benefit from it too.
Mm-hmm. And we even had someone at the end of 2018. They were like, "Can I pay the whole contract off?" They joined the 500K group, so 25K contract for 5%. They're like, "Can I pay the whole thing off right now so I can use it as a tax write-off for my 2018 taxes?" And they're like, "Oh, that's a good way to skip the line. We'd be happy to make room for you." And like, but he didn't just want a tax write-off. Like, he believed that he was going to receive a bigger enough benefit from coaching to make it worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Melissa Byrne in the chat says, as a player, I actually think it's better than an hourly because you have a vested interest in my success. Not to say you wouldn't for an hourly rate, but you have to earn it.
Well, yeah, like I give away a lot more secrets. Like I want them to succeed so bad. And I'm like, "Oh, do you know what I do in this spot?" And I get like excited about it and share some like really cool knowledge, where if I was in an hourly, I might just be like, "Oh, well, the solver says to do this, da 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 da." You know, and so I think that we were held accountable for our coaching a lot more than any other sites or anything else.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, you bought my action a few times. You've always been super helpful. I mean, we are friendly, but you've always got on your way. Like, hey, if you want a question, you want to at any hand, anything you want to ask me about, anything live reads, who someone is, something like that, let me know. And I guess I'm always kind of shy about doing things like that because I feel kind of like, oh, I don't want to take up someone's time. You know, I don't know. I feel always a little strange, kind of.
If I'm busy, I'll ignore you.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to get better at. That's something I got to improve at. Chance. It's just the idea of reaching out to the people that I know and asking for some help or advice or strategy in some situations, just because I know how busy people are and overwhelmed and they're doing their own thing. I'm like, I don't really want to bother them with what I'm thinking or what I'm sort of trying to figure out here. I'll just kind of try to figure it out on my own.
Yeah, one of the things I learned from my mom actually at a young age is it doesn't hurt to ask. And so I've fortunately been good at asking, but I definitely see that perspective on like not wanting to bug people.
Yeah, that's probably my very weakest quality. And I think that's not good for a business owner who has people that work under you, is because when they say, "What should I do?" and you're like, well, I don't really know. You know, it's like, I'm not used to telling, Big J's in the chat, Jonah Hungerman's in the chat. He's working for me a lot. He'd be like, "What should I do?" I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, I'm not used to approaching it from a perspective where I'm like, okay, this person's going to do this for me. It's just like, what can I do for myself? And if I can't do it for myself, then I'm not going to think about doing it, which for yourself, you can't do that because you have so many students and you have so much stuff that you're doing right now, it seems like.
Yeah, and I haven't personally taken new students for a couple of months now, just because product development leading up to the WSOP, but I think I should have more bandwidth come the fall.
Yeah, you got right now, the coaches are Joe McKeon, World Series Poker Main Event champ, right? Ryan LaPlante, who is a goddamn workhorse. This man's a workhorse, bro.
Yeah, he puts in work.
Great, man. You see this kid, I swear to God, I think he's been playing a tournament and posting a hand every day for the past 6 years. Since I've joined Twitter and started following him. I'm dead serious. This guy is a goddamn machine, man.
Yeah, he's a sick grinder.
Yeah, he is. And we got Dan on there, Daniel Strelitz, and who else is a part of the team on there, man?
Simon Dedman, who lives in Vegas now, really cool guy, and he is also kind of a live tell specialist. And so it's interesting, like hearing his live tell stuff. And he actually did it before watching mine, so it wasn't like clouded, if you will. And so it's really fun to hear like that perspective, because I haven't really gotten to talk too many like live tells with that many people. So that was fun. And then Ryan Jones and Ryan Lang.
Okay. And then I know my man John Beaupre. He is a man on the back end handling the business, trying to make $1 billion, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just his workhorse. I'm like, "Johnny, what do I do today? I don't have anything on my calendar." And he's like, "I got like 42 things you can do." And I'm like, Jesus, man.
Yeah, if you guys don't know John Beaupre, he is the man's a machine. I love that man. That man's got work ethic. Listen, there's people that got work ethic, and That man is a man who goes hard 35 hours a day, and there's only 24 in one day, and I don't think he sleeps. So
He doesn't sleep. He played a cash game yesterday. Shout out John Beaupre. Congrats on your biggest winning session ever in cash.
wait, what? Biggest winning yesterday?
Yeah. But he literally played till 4:30 in the morning his time, and he was up. Like, I interviewed Joe McKeon for our Bracelet Hunter series before this podcast, and he was up right in the interview questions first thing. Like, he didn't sleep. Like, he's probably not watching this right now because he actually is sleeping, but he's always awake. He responds within an hour 100% of the time I text him. It's incredible.
Adderall's a hell of a drug, buddy.
I don't think he's anymore, but maybe.
We've been there, bro. We've all been there. I think you're right. I've probably texted him about 2,000 times in my life. I'm pretty sure he's responded every time, and he texts me, and sometimes it takes me a month to respond because I don't know how people, and this is something I'm sure you've seen from Work Communicate, is I have absolutely no idea how people do it, man. When you get, because I get messages all the time from all these different people on all these platforms, and like, I wish it would rank them on people that I know the best and want to talk to, but it just all gets so discombobulated that, and then I get overwhelmed and I start working on this, and then it's like, holy shit. How I guess, what's your strategy for managing all these relationships and all these things that you're working at right now?
I also wish I had like a notification sorter that just ranked them. That would be incredible. Because like, I wake up in the morning and it's like, make my shake, go to the bathroom, and just, all right, Twitter, Instagram, and it is really difficult. One of the things I've worked on is like, 7, 8 p.m. rolls around, which is pretty late for me these days. And I'll actually just put my phone on Do Not Disturb, leave it in the room, and I'm just done for the night. And then when I'm on the clock, say from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., like, I'm very responsive. And it is kind of difficult. And there's a big difference between working a 9 to 5, where I work really hard from 9 to 5. I work for someone. And there's another thing when you run your own business, because like, business and life, when you run your own business, is just a combination of the two things. And when you're combining those, like, fortunately, Emily understands, like, well, I'm buying action for the fund right now. Like, I have to respond to this. I have to text his coach and see if he's a good player, if this is a good buy or not. I have to figure out if the stop's like more plus EV than others. And there is like a little bit of research you have to do with each piece. And fortunately, we brought Ryan LaPlante on to help us manage the stable recently. So that has taken a lot off my plate. But at least twice a year, my wife and I, she's like, what about me? And I'm like, okay, well, what can we cut out? How can I find more time? Because there isn't enough time in the day to do everything, like, especially when you are working so hard. And so it's difficult to find that balance. And like, it's one of the things I struggle with all the time.
I think priorities, they say, according to the books, the books say you set priorities, and then you hopefully get better at subconsciously understanding your priorities, and then you default to do those things that are higher on your priority list. And when you don't have these priorities set out, you're sort of discombobulated. And it sounds like you have a good grasp on the idea of that hierarchy of what you want to work at and focus on and for goals right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of theory versus application. Like, I can tell you what you should do, but I mean, it's going to be a constant struggle for me, just like anyone else. Like, I know that every night at 6 p.m. I should put my phone away, but it doesn't always happen. Like, I know that I need to do ABC, but I do XYZ. And so it is hard, like, but once you do sort those priorities and really get a feel for it, it will allow you to get better at actually executing. But you do need to take a step back and like kind of be honest with yourself. And I'm like, what's important to me right now? Right now it's developing products for CLC, coaching my students, spending time with my wife, and working out, not in that order. And so like, I focus on those things currently. And so, but if you don't know what your priorities are and you haven't set them out, it's going to be very difficult for you to prioritize your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something I'm working at right now. And I'm sure a lot of people out there could use it, because for a long time, for me, I'm sure this was for yourself, it was poker number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 7, like 1 through 30 was poker.
It's just poker and partying for me for years.
Right, exactly. Like that. I mean, so it's like when we get old, when we figure out, okay, well, let's, and I think that's the hard process to learn, and kind of wondering from how, actually, we have the same birthdays, but I don't know if we're the same age. Are we the same age too?
I think you're a year or two younger than me.
You're older than 33?
I'm 32.
Oh, you're younger than me. Okay.
You just look younger.
Is that true? Maybe I think it's a lighting, bro. I I got this ring light right here. If I turn the ring light off, I'm telling you, you're gonna look stronger than me. So
It can pull out the big light.
oh my God, that's like the professional lighting right there. You need to put that bad boy on your beautiful face over there, kid. Get some light in there, shine it on your body over here, man.
I don't want it during this.
Balls Deep said, I feel like the same thing gets reset every pod. Well, listen, man, these are the things we're working on right now, Balls Deep. If we're working on Pot Limit Omaha, we're going to talk mainly about Pot Limit Omaha. We're talking about getting better at life. We're going to talk about subjects getting better at life. The way you get better at things is you constantly focus on it. You talk about it. You think about it. You put it in your mind. Talk about it more, my friend, okay? That's how things work. That's how you get better at things. Come on, Balls.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy some of the repetition from different perspectives. So like hearing Berkey, Garrett Adelstein, and Foxen, for example, talk about something very similar when they're not that different in like a ton of ways, but they do have different approaches. And you can kind of look at their three approaches to a topic and be like, I could see this one working the best for me. And like there is a best for everyone. Not everyone operates the same way. Some people are Macs, some people are PCs. Like it's just how you process things. And I love hearing the different perspectives from different people and trying to figure out which one I want to emulate.
Is there anything that comes to mind in terms of a perspective or takeaway that you've heard from one of those guys that really stuck with you?
I really liked how Garrett talked about like Berkey actually. Just the fact that like, well, he's giving up EV here, but he's making up for it here. And it's like, instead of just everyone saying that Berkey's like a dumbass solve for life, not fold, or, like I actually really respect Berkey's game a lot for a lot of the reasons that Garrett said, is just because he does think about the game from another perspective. It's not about like every single EV calculation. Like if you look at the big picture and spew a little bit in this spot, you can get in a big game. And so like it is really cool to just see, a person as intelligent as Garrett, like analyze the situation.
Yeah. I always wonder how people get better at being that articulate on certain things or being that thoughtful on certain things, because that's been one of the most fascinating parts of doing a podcast, is hearing how certain people are able to word things together. And well, how did they get that ability to be able to do something like that?
Yeah, it's something that like I wish that I was much better at. Fortunately, in the last couple of years, I have gotten a lot better with that via coaching. When I first started, I like picked 5 guys and I was like, hey guys, you should join this company. I'm probably going to be a horrible coach, but it's half off for now. And like, maybe it'll go well, maybe it won't. Fox and Napun Java, Christian Soda, like a few guys that really were like willing to take the leap with me. And, I could see, especially in those first few months, like how my quality of coaching got like, progressively better, and just the ability to articulate those thoughts.
Yeah, I think I noticed that through coaching as well too. Just you kind of have to get better, especially if the people you're talking to are also smart people who are good at poker and quality at life, and they're trying to get better at their life. I think they push you and motivate you to be better about your process that you're going about when you're working with them. So I think that's like a natural progression. And also talking more. I feel like certain guys like Barry Greenstein, right? Man's got a lot of wisdom, but it seems like he probably talks 23 hours a day. So when you just talk that much, you got to get better at talking, right? Maybe it's a repetition thing again.
It's kind of the introvert-extrovert thing we talked about earlier. Maybe he first started and he said like 3 words and he just got rolling.
Yeah. Well, even like even Perkins, Perkins definitely loves talking. I'm just like, what Doug, I feel like Doug's well articulating, talks nonstop, so it's like maybe there's some sort of correlation with just talk. But then I know some people who talk nonstop who
Blab.
Yeah, maybe they're fucking idiots, too. So it's kind of this thing where, I don't know. Who knows, man? Maybe some people say read more in the chat. I'm sure it's a combination of reading, talking with others, surrounding yourself with a GTO support system of people. Like if you're talking with Foxen every day, you're going to naturally get a lot smarter because you're hearing his perspective. And then he's also forcing you to step to the level up of articulation on your own end too, when it comes to poker, when it comes to working at whatever you're trying to work at.
Yeah. And that's definitely been someone that's expanded my ability to articulate, just because we have become like pretty good friends over the last couple of years. And he's just so good at articulating his thoughts on not just poker, but any other topic. And I'm not sure what it comes from, whether it's being well-read or just conversing a lot, but it's definitely a really good quality to be able to have.
I think it's got to be a combination of all those things. Just kind of the practice, the reps, being more mindful or being more thoughtful when you speak, and really trying to challenge yourself to speak in different type of way and to better your knowledge on a specific topic that you might be speaking about. So for instance, if we're trying to get better at talking about maybe a hand, maybe we go through how Alex Foxen broke down a hand yesterday, or maybe we take a look at how Phil Galfond talks about a hand and we say, okay, let's try to talk about this more.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like poker specifically, there's like a very detailed poker vocabulary if you want to be super articulate. And that's going to kind of transition into any other thing you're trying to describe. Like if you don't have the right words to say what you're thinking, you're not going to come across as articulate than you would if you did.
Yeah. Nick Triangle says, what's fascinating is how well you stay in the conversation about the podcast in the chat. Nova Poker Player said, when you're the world record holder for most hands played in a day, 2 convos at once must be a piece of cake. I got to let you guys know. 24 tabling PLO, challenging. Being able to navigate a GTO conversation and then the chat, piece of cake, man. Come on. When you play 24 table PLO for 14 hours a day, you know, this is like.
You have the record for most hands played in a day?
I've played the most hands in a day at both No Limit and PLO.
What about Nanonoko? I thought he did it in PCA some years back.
I don't recall Nanonoko playing more hands than me in a day at No Limit Hold'em, because I played 53,000 hands in 24 hours or 20. It was 20 hours. I played 50,000 hands, and then I think I maybe ended the session around 53,000 or something like that.
Jesus, man, that's impressive.
Yeah, that was when I had. I mean, you can kind of see the work ethic these past couple of weeks. I feel like the past couple of years has been slacking, but yeah, that was one of my first major prop bets back in 2009. And listen, Nano, if Nano has it, I don't think Nano has this bet. If he does,
what year did you get it?
This bet was 2009.
Gotcha.
Cool. Yeah.
Maybe he holds some different record, because I remember his being.
Yeah, I remember he had some. I mean, he probably holds the record for graph going up and never going down in any sort of way over 25 million hands. Yeah.
Just straight up.
Listen, I'll take the Nanonoko. Like, you guys don't understand. The Nanonoko graph never went down for years. It just went straight up until stars started making changes, and then he started experiencing a little bit more variance, and he started streaming more. And when you spread your energy out so much, it's hard to keep your graph going straight up. And I guess for yourself, how have you noticed your own poker results have been now that you've been doing so many other things?
Actually, my Sunday results have been great. I win almost every Sunday. I've won like 3 tournaments, a pretty big one. I got 4th last week. I mean, I've ran really good, but it's more than that. Like it's people playing bad against me. And I've also been practicing like, I'm trying to think of the right word since my word got stolen recently. I'll tell you about that later, but I've been practicing mindfulness a lot lately, and being able to like not take bad beats, or take bad beats and just not dwell on what could have been and stuff like that. And so my ability to maintain playing my best throughout the session, regardless of the variance that happens mid-session, has been something that I've been working really hard on, and I'm sure that my results have been good because of that.
How do you go upon doing that?
There's a lot of practices, actually. The second product that CLC is coming out with is focused specifically around that. And, you know, there's different aspects. You kind of have to like have really good awareness of yourself and how you feel in the current state that you're in, awareness of your opponents and the state that they're in. And then, you know, like there's tilt control, there's different tools that you can use, whether it's like a type of breathing or exercise to bring yourself to the moment. Like being in the zone is one of the things that we focus on a lot. And like in the zone is actually its own brain length. So like this conversation that we're having right now is like the beta brain wavelength or something like that. And it's way different than the alpha brainwave that is like professional athletes or someone who's doing something competitively. And so like in the alpha wavelength, your brain power gets a lot like stronger, but even though you have less thoughts. And so like we have a lot of thoughts right now, but like when you're playing poker, you're thinking about just poker. And staying in the zone is one of the most important aspects of poker. Like whether you take a bad beat, it's like, well, who cares that I have 30 big blinds instead of 60? Like now it's time to focus on how to play 30 big blinds. It's not time to worry about what could have been or what I had.
Yeah, it sounds easy in theory, brother.
Yeah, and it's not just like, hey, let's do this. Like it takes practice, and it is something that I've actively in recording the product like that we're making right now. Sorry, I don't have the name yet. But it really has helped me in my like mindfulness journey. And like, I don't like the negative connotation or like that mindfulness I think gets, because it really is like just being in the zone. And like, I think that it has such a more positive connotation, especially for like the poker world in general.
Yeah, kind of from what I've been studying, being in the zone is eliminating distraction from what you're doing, aka take your phone, throw it out the damn window, get it out of your mind, whatever is distracting you, whether it's another TV or another watching a show, or you're watching I was gonna say something out of line. That'd be a good comment for you to throw on the podcast. Get rid of that one. But
I'm sure we can guess what you're gonna say.
yeah, and that was something I noticed I did very, very well playing poker. Was I'd be able to get in the zone so often, and sometimes it would go away, but about that 6 hour mark, it would just snap in there, and that's when you just start firing all cylinders and trying to really recreate that process. And I feel like it's just when you're really locked in, focused on what you're doing. Maybe you got some music playing that you're not really paying attention to, and you just block out everything around you, and you focus in on what you're doing and only what you're doing. And obviously that's very challenging nowadays with their phones and with messaging and with email and with the Twitter and Instagram. It's our mind always goes to there. I feel like it goes to, okay, what's happening out there? What's this person doing? What's that person doing? Mm-hmm. And if you can get rid of that desire to want to know what's happening out there and just be focused in on what you're doing, I feel like that's going to be able to help you get more in the zone and be more in the flow state consistently.
Yeah, and that's what mindfulness is. And like I started 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago with Tommy Angelo, and it really did open my eyes to like what it could be like. And Tommy Angelo also coached Phil Galfond. And so like if you actually look at a lot of the high stakes successful players, one of the things they have in common is the ability to maintain their A game. And I even heard something a while ago, which I'm sure is only partially true, that like at high stakes poker, the difference is like tilt control. So like I've talked to Gordo a tiny bit about him playing in like the big mixed games. And he says that like, yeah, like the average player is a touch better than me, but they have a tilt day where they lose a couple hundred and it's so hard to get that back, in their average big bet per. He's like, I just don't have tilt days. So it's really important to maintain that clear mental game.
Shout out to former podcast guest Mike Gordinsky, who's been known for battling against Doyle Brunson on social media. Doyle Brunson, guys, we're actually we're gonna launch a campaign here, guys. We're gonna go hard. Doyle Brunson's getting a little old, and we need to get him on the podcast. So sometime over the next week or two, we're gonna do a full out campaign assault to try to get Doyle Brunson on the podcast, because this man is the #1 person I want to have on. He's fucking hilarious.
Oh, that'd be great.
Can you imagine, Chance? Doyle Brunson. This guy is, legend of poker. I mean, I've got so much respect for people like that are just been around poker for 15 years. This guy's been around since the 60s or 70s. I mean, can you imagine that? Playing poker.
I mean, he legitimately had to survive. Like playing poker in like the wild, wild west. Like he could have got killed multiple times and he has stories to prove it. Like he really is a freaking legend.
Yeah, he talks about having the shotgun pointed at his head. Like,
yeah.
What's going on? There's a shotgun point. You ever had a shotgun pointed at your head in a private game, Chance?
Nope. Normally there's security guards with guns.
Fair, if you said yes, I wouldn't be surprised that, or you're probably playing some crazy games. But
yeah, I've seen some guns in some games before.
What's that like? Well, I've not had the privilege to not see a gun in the game. When you see a gun in the private game, what are you thinking?
Fortunately, all the guns that I've seen in games is security guards. And so I'm like, all right, we're probably not going to get robbed, but I didn't bring any money anyway. So
yeah, what do you think about the private game experience? Because I know that you are very friendly, make a lot of friends that maybe invite you to some private games. You also give a lot of action. You're fun at the table. You're in a fucking niche. You like to drink. All characteristics of what people want to have in a private game. So what's your experience in playing in some of these private games?
When I was in Florida, maybe 5 to 3 years ago when we were living down there, I was trying to network and trying to get in private games, and I was focused a lot more on that aspect. In the last couple of years, it's definitely fallen off. I really haven't played shit for private games at all. But I think that it's like mostly networking. Like I have a friend who was playing a big game recently, and they will not be named, but they said that the game went poorly, but networking went about as good as it could. And like you have more EV in the networking than you do in like that one game, like being able to come back for them liking you. And it's like, there's a very hidden talent in like being a graceful winner and a graceful loser, and having the ability to like if fish don't mind losing to you, that's huge. But if you're a dick when they lose to you, you're just not going to get invited back. And like, I was fortunate enough to get invited to that Florida private game for years. And the person who ran the game didn't want me in it. But fortunately, the biggest recreational player in the game, he's like, no, chance can come. And I just got to play for years and years and years until that guy kind of went to the poker hospital, as we call it, where the poker hospital is when you lose so much money and you're a businessman that you need to go to the poker hospital to get that, residual income back up so you have more disposable income for poker. And so the poker hospital is one of my favorite terms.
Poker hospital, huh?
Yeah, it's when a recreational player needs to take a break to recoup some funds so they can dispose of them again.
You sent a lot of people to the hospital, Chance, or what?
I mean, I could think of a couple. Put one guy in the ICU a while back, but I mean, not too many.
Sent him to the ICU to get some surgery. He was in therapy for 2 years trying to get back to his old state of.
Speaking of the poker ICU, shout out Keith Lear. He'd be a great person for you to have on this podcast. He's a legend.
I don't know much about him except I hear his name a lot at the World Series. I don't think I actually know what he looks like. So what's his story? What's his background?
Well, last name Lear. I believe his parents actually own Lear Jets, but he actually makes a living playing poker now in some of the big games. But right after Black Friday, or I don't know, probably like 8-9 years ago now, I went and played a 63-hour session down in Texas and just nearly busted him. And it was like one of the most surreal, fun experiences I've ever had in poker, just because like the longest break I took was maybe 15 minutes to do some yoga stretches because I was like cramping up. And like by the end of the session, Adderall, obviously.
What was PEDs used in this?
Yeah, definitely some performance enhancing. But like I'd get a massage on this side and I would look at my cards and bet with this side and I'd be like, oh, cramp. And she'd switch to this side and I would play right-handed for a while. And like, I was just so withered at the end. And I'd look in the mirror and just be like, I mean, it was fun.
What was the what was the session result?
I think I won like 550.
550,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do we do after a 63-hour, $550,000 session? What happens? What's the etiquette there?
You sleep. I went to sleep and then came home and I had sold some action to some friends and we partied for a few days. Of course, I was not good to my body that week. Let's just say that.
And that sounds what we call in the business OOL, out of line. Dare I say, very out of line, Chan. That's why. This is why I was disappointed I didn't include out of line in the introduction, because it's not just a matter of the lifestyle and partying. It's also the matter of how you treat your body and how you approach poker and how you approach these long sessions. And I mean, these are things I've been doing to myself personally for many, many years. And sounds like you're not trying to do that anymore.
Oh, no, I still really like to punish myself. I just have a financial vested interest in taking some time off. I've still had a few days in the last couple of months where I went a little too hard.
What game were you guys playing? The great game, Pot Omaha, or were you playing two-card?
No, Pot Omaha, the great game.
What's is your favorite game PLO?
Honestly, my favorite game, and I almost never. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say No Limit Hold'em, so I cut the audio out for a second there.
No limit. Deuce to 7 single draw is the most fun game there is.
Sorry, sir, that's the incorrect answer. The correct answer we're looking for is the great game of Pot Limit Omaha. Chance.
My bad.
We're playing in a volleyball court. I'm just throwing it up for you, and I'm just waiting for you to slam it home for me, and you give me the Deuce to 7 triple draw answer.
I mean, PLO, like cash, is definitely my favorite version of cash games. And I haven't even played that much Deuce to 7 single draw. It just has so many fun aspects of it, like the live tells, because there's one draw. The guy he made a good hand or he didn't. Is like it's such a pure form. I think Ivy said back in the day, and it's true. Like it is like one of the most pure forms, and it's a blast. And like I said, I've played it very little. I'll be happy to dust off my 1500 every year in the WSOP event. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good one. I mean, PLO is always going to be the closest to my heart. It's how I built a roll. It's my first bracelet. So like, I mean, that's definitely my favorite.
First bracelet. Oh, PLO, baby. Oh, PLO. Do you think you must think you have a pretty big edge at PLO tournaments, correct?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, because Something we've been talking about lately is just the idea of how challenging it is to get better at PLO tournaments. And if you already have a very, very strong understanding of no-limit tournaments and a strong understanding of PLO Omaha Cash, going into those PLO tournaments, you must feel like pretty comfortable with the deep stack and with the shorter stacks as well, too.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I think Foxen talked a little bit about PLO tournaments yesterday, and like he has like an incredible understanding of tournaments in general. And I think his PLO game is kind of meh. Yeah, like he's okay. And but when you put those two together, like anyone who's good, because PLO exists in tournament form so rarely, there's very few. Like I would actually say the best PLO tournament players are actually going to be no limit hold'em players, tournament players, just because it matters so much, and like equities run close, and like for example, getting in aces on the bubble if there's a shorty is like tragic. Which is like crazy to even consider because of no limit. You're like, I got aces. I don't care how many are left or what the stage is. Yeah. But in PLO, you get it in with bad aces and you're like 55%. But in like no limit, would you call it off with 55% equity? Like on the bubble? No, of course not. But like, you know, tournaments, like tournament PLO just has like such a nuance to it, if you will. Whenever equities run that close, like you just have to play so tight on bubbles.
Folding aces pre-flop, huh?
I know. I don't even want to admit it. Can we cut that out? Cut that out.
Oh, no, aces, baby. What do you mean? Aces, pot. All in.
Like, I actually don't think I've been in a situation to fold aces. Just like in like a satellite form of poker. If those stacks are a certain way and like, you know, someone's so likely to bust in the next orbit, you should be folding aces in a no limit tournament as well. Fortunately, I've never had to fold aces pre-flop in either game. I hope that remains true. So.
Fold aces pre-flop in no limit hold'em?
Satellite only, yeah.
Not going to be able to do it. No.
Take me off that list.
No, I'm not. I'm just not. You know what I mean? And maybe if it's like a satellite from my life, and if I lose the satellite, I get my die, then I might start folding aces pre-flop at some percentage of the time. But I'm kidding. I'll in a satellite. I'm sure it's in the book, guys. I'm sure the satellite book, Derek O'Carney's new satellite book that everyone's raving about on Twitter, and by everyone I mean people that I follow. I'm sure they advocate folding aces pre-flop too sometimes. So I don't know. I haven't played that many satellites in my life. I think the first satellite I played was for the 25K PLO, and I won that. So that was but there was some awful play. I mean, holy shit, Chance. Have you played these satellites?
I got in with like I got in with an eighth of a big blind in last year's SETI.
Did you? That's awesome.
It was amazing, yeah. Like we're sitting at the tables and me and the other guy were like counting the stacks and we're like, how much you got? 46. I'm like, I got 48. Like it was so much fun.
Yeah, those PLO satellites. I mean, maybe it's like this for the no limit home satellites of the World Series, but I think the satellites at the series in general have to have so much value. Because the players that get into these, I don't know like what they're like. I don't know where they come from. Honestly, Chance, I don't know where these guys come from. They I don't know what they're doing. I don't know where they get the money to play. Like it just makes no sense what they're doing in the plays I see. I almost think like I think I'm in some alternate reality when I played the satellites.
I mean, we're definitely in the same, obviously. Like I have friends who text me a picture and they're like, how did this guy get $3,000? And it's just a picture of some guy and you're like, holy shit, like this guy's awesome.
Yeah, it's nothing like the series, brother. Nothing like I mean, there's really nothing like the World Series of Poker in anything because it's 6 weeks, 7 weeks in the desert, Las Vegas, where everyone in the poker world comes here. All these casinos have these big series. There's buy-ins ranging from $25 at Excalibur up to $1 million sometimes at the series and everything in between. The entire community comes here from all around the world to play. It's one of the most special things I think that exist in the entire world right now. I don't even think that's an exaggeration to say something like that.
How are those $25 tournaments at Excalibur treating you?
I'm just going to be honest with you, Chance. I have not played one of those before, but I would imagine that they are, I'd imagine they're pretty juicy, though. I don't know what the ROI is on that with the rake. They probably rake $25 in addition to the $25.
Yeah, it might be like a 25 plus 20.
That's probably what they are. I don't know how they are on there. But, man, what's kind of some tips you might give out there to people coming to the series, Chance, for, you know, they're trying to manage it better because we know how overwhelming it can get, especially when you got friends here, when you got a late night and you don't know how to get your body and your mind back on track. What may be a couple tips that we can give to the people out there that you might give to them for managing a World Series of Poker coming up here 2019?
take breaks. Don't get burnt out. Like, I was actually talking to Joe McKeon today, and he says that he plays about 5 days a week. Not everyone can be Alex Foxen and just play every single day. Like, I mean, he's not human, whatever. But like for the rest of us who are human, like make sure that you're trusting yourself mentally and physically. Like if your lower back's hurting from playing too much poker or your mind's just exhausted, like take a day off, go to the pool, relax with friends. Like I'm sure someone needs a day off. Like try to convince your friends to take one too. But I mean, there's just so many different things. Like I would highly recommend checking out our summit on May 9th. We're going to have 5 coaches, all with different topics and lessons, a Q&A, and it's free. And so, I mean, it's just, you can get a really, really good detailed answer for that question there.
That was a great call to action, buddy.
You teed it up nicely.
That was a great CTA right there. I really like that one. May 9th, free course, link in the description below.
I loved yesterday when you're like, this is free. This has got to be better than Daniel Negreanu's thing.
Well, listen, I mean, it's got to be. I saw the list. You talk about did you know that the first lesson, there's a way to accumulate chips without risking any of your chips? Is Negreanu's masterclass have that? I think what Negreanu's masterclass has is how to take a picture of your dick at the pool time, because I don't know if that's in there or not, but that's not in your course. So I know I might want to take this free training seminar May 9th.
So you kind of got to ask yourself about that picture, though. So let's get back on the real topics.
I'm going to show the picture, guys, and I'm going to say this is if you're at work or something like that. I maybe you just fast forward through this next part, but I just want to show you what we're working with here, guys. This is what pokers come to. All right, this is what we're talking about right now, and I think it's a fair topic, as Negreanu is as he is one of the most popular ambassadors in poker. Now, just be careful here, guys. All right, like I said, I'm going to do it now. Okay. Giving you the warning, all right? So here's the photo. Okay, let me put this up here. All right, so here it is on Instagram. If we go through, we have some nice women, okay? And then we got this one yesterday. What is the mindset you need?
All right, so I gotta ask.
I'm going to put my junk up in my swim trunks, and I'm going to take this photo and post it on my Instagram page where it's 99% dudes. What's the chance?
No, hold on. It gets even better. Think about this, Joey. You know how like the Instagram model girls like pull their boobs up, make sure their thong's on right. And then, so it makes me wonder, did he like fluff his junk for the picture?
I got a lot of questions too, Chance. That's true. Does this look like a natural laying bald skew right here? Not really, no.
My junk has never laid that way in my life.
When does it lay up? It goes down. What's going on? I'm trying to hold on. Let me show you guys what I'm doing here. I'm going to try to do this right now. Okay. I don't did this. So he's like this, right? He's laying down and he's like, there's no chance. It doesn't even go that way. Do you think something's in there, or like?
In fact, it hangs the other direction.
Right. It looks strange, doesn't it? I mean, I got a lot of questions about this photo. Let me go back to the photo real quick. It just doesn't make much. I mean,
I think there's like a baby. I think you got a baby turtle in there.
You think there's like a figurine or something like that?
Oh man, like I love D-Megs, but did he get a little fluffing beforehand? Like, what's going on?
Do you think he had a man to like take care? I just got a lot of questions. All right, I'm not saying I don't like it, Chance. I'm not saying I don't want to see more of it. I'm just saying I got a lot of questions. I don't know, like, and I joked around. I said, was this his way of listing his WSOP package online? Like, what's the markup? Is he looks like he's due for a big tour. It looks like he's ready to launch it off this summer.
Is the caption like, following all the markup debate this summer, here's my package.
When you saw this, Chance, what was your take? What would you think?
I mean, I was just like, didn't know what to think. Questions galore, like you said. There's some comments like that someone posted in a chat of mine that's like amazing. I'm trying to find it for us.
The comments on this are the funniest thing I've ever seen. Someone said, everything you do at the pool shouldn't convey this and shouldn't convey information like this. The comments on this
on the comment. Wow, just another thing I'm jealous of over you. The size and shape of it is beautiful. And mine definitely doesn't go as deep as yours. The pool is like 16 feet, and one of those boring above grounds is like 5 foot deep the whole way across. Hashtag I'm jelly.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Stop it. Is that a real comment?
Yes, this is one of the comments by Ricky Buzka.
Oh my God, dude, that is. Oh my gosh, I love Daniel Negreanu. Do you think Sean Deeb is going to get outraged about the markup on this package right here too, or is this something where he's going to be fine with because Daniel has the result?
I mean, is that markup like 2.0 markup? I feel like we're like zoomed in or something. Like, what's going on?
I just got a lot of questions.
A lot of questions.
I left 2 comments. Chance, I had to leave 2 comments on there. I was so taken aback. One guy said, "You're right." He said that one. One guy said, "Yo, we can see your pocket aces. He's got the nuts. Not everything you do at the pool should convey information. I can't put my phone anywhere nowadays."
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough if you're like laying on the couch or sitting at the poker table and it's just like some girl posts an absurd picture. Fine, like scrolling through Instagram, you know, but like when you pop through Instagram and that pops up on your feed, the guy next to you is like, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
Like, this is Daniel Negreanu, the biggest ambassador in poker. I'm just and like I said, I'm not saying he shouldn't post the picture of the junk on there. We've all wanted to do that at some point in time in life, but you know, when your audience is all dudes, maybe you I don't know. I'm not saying I don't want to see more of it. I'm not being critical about it. I'm just saying that I might not have done it, Chance. Okay, I might not have done it. I don't know. You think he's due for a big summer here, Chance? I mean, looking at this, it looks like he's certainly on the way to being big for the summer.
This is a big summer right there.
The biggest poker ambassador in the world. The largest follower of poker on Instagram. Dag's more like D's nuts, okay? This is what poker's come to. We're talking about a girl buying into a tournament for 400 and getting into the main event, and Negreanu posted a picture of himself in the boxer shorts at the pool. So that's what it's come to, you know?
Poker Twitter has been so embarrassing lately. Everyone just needs to mind their own fucking business and just worry about themselves. Like, everyone's just all up in outrage about the smallest things. It's incredible.
The outrage, it's getting ridiculous, isn't it? It's getting crazy, the amount of outrage on things.
Yeah. I mean, people are challenging each other to fights. Like, I really hope it's World Series of UFC fights with poker players. Like, how fun would it be to just spend a summer watching other poker players beat the shit out of each other and bet on someone? Like, that sounds epic. That's what I want to do with my summer.
Well, the great thing, Chance, is that we actually have a professional commentator, Joe Ingram, aka Big Poppy, in the house, ready to call some fights. We want to see a fight. I'm there. I'm ready. I'm ready to call the action, Chance. Let's get that.
I think Negreanu is trying to steal your nickname, Big Poppy, though.
Stop it. Oh, yeah. Are we calling this Big Poppy? Because I mean, I feel like is this what we're going to call Big Poppy? Let me go back one more time. Are we calling this Big Poppy? Hold on. This is Big Poppy.
I mean, it's not small.
It's true. What's he working with in there? I mean, I'm ready for the full nude. I'm just ready for it. Okay, I want to see. Like, you gave me the preview, Negreanu. Show me the entree. All right, I got the appetizer. Let me see the entree.
I mean, it's going to be like the Ronnie Barda nude that popped out some years ago.
The Canadian Hammer. The Canadian Hammer.
Oh man!
Listen, you post this photo on Instagram. You open yourself up to some commentary, and like I said, I like the photo. I'm a fan of it. All right, I want to see more. I don't know.
I wish I had balls big enough to post a picture on Instagram, and you can take that either way. Big balls.
I wish you had a big ball. Holy shit. Okay, what if we do a prop bet where the loser has to post this same photo on Instagram?
That's pretty high stakes, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm out. I don't want to do that. Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Moving on.
Can you imagine? So I think I'm going to go to the pool after this is over and take a very similar photo and like blur it out and post it on post a side by side, like who did it better, me or Negreanu, sort of thing like that.
That'll get some love for sure.
That's content, baby. Content. This is the state we're in. 2019. This is poker content, baby.
Oh man, what's the world coming to?
Where are we celebrating a nice moment in poker? Maybe someone has a big score. No, we're talking about people challenging. By the way, who's challenging who to a fight on Twitter? Have I missed this? Who's fighting?
I think Team A was challenging basically everyone in my group chat to a fight in the last. It started out when Matt Waxman basically like gave a free roll of the charity, was in for a few bullets, and like booked a loser in the tournament, even though he cashed for $7,000, and then so he didn't give anything to charity, like he lost in the tournament. And Team A was just outraged. He's like, "How dare you use charitable contributions in order to boost your social media following? Like, you're scum. You owe this money to charity." And I think it was like 2%. It was like $140. And like, I know Matt pretty darn well. Like, he's a good guy. He does do a lot of stuff for charity. And like, if he only wanted to give on profits, like, who cares? And then like him and Panzico were getting into it and they were talking about fighting. And Panzico was like, if you can get down below 185, we can fight, bro. And then Jay Farber, he starts like making fun of Jay's name being Herbert. Like, I mean, Jay's like the second or third, like Herbert the second or third. And like, I mean, his parents call him Jay just because you like have that name tradition. Like, who makes fun of someone's name these days? Like, I just don't get it. Like, these social media warriors, if you will, has just never been something that I've been into, we could say.
I don't know if this, I think it's only going to get worse and worse because there's already this built up negativity as a poker player a lot of times when you don't do well and you don't have the ability to stay in a mindful, positive place. Shots to Hellmuth. And by the way, have you seen this video, Chance?
Oh, it's so good.
Have you seen? I don't want to talk about the fight. Let me just go to the goddamn video, okay? Hold on a second, guys. Let me show up this video if you haven't seen this.
And
video.
Can we point out that this is Danny Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth, the two biggest ambassadors in poker.
Yes,
This is what our poker world has come to.
Let's take a look at this in the podcast while we're here, Chance. Okay, so this was posted, and by the way, this might have been in like 2002 or something like that too, as well. So this is a video of Phil Hellmuth from sometime in the World Series of Poker, and me and Chance are going to talk more about this. Okay, so it's a 60-second video. It's posted by this guy Rhino. Praise the Lord for this guy. He posted this on my Doug Polk clip here. So let's just run through this. We're not going to have audio, but there's an alarm clock beeping right now. So first of all, Chance, it starts off.
Nice. I haven't seen the whole thing. This is exciting.
Do you know why there's a roll of toilet paper by the bed?
Ran out of tissues? Let's give him some credit.
What do you think? What do you use the toilet paper by the bed for, Chance?
I don't. I own tissues.
Okay. Well, I know what I would use toilet paper by the bed for. And
sorry, that was a loaded question. I couldn't tee it up for you.
You'd have to imagine if ESPN said they're going to come over and shoot a scene for you for this year's series, would you remove the toilet paper by the bed or would you keep it there?
I mean, it looks like a pretty fresh roll. Maybe he just placed it there for a bit.
Okay.
I don't know.
Alarm clock goes off. Nope. 1 p.m.
1 p.m. alarm. Sharp.
You can't hear what he's saying. He says when he's some music starts up. For me to play at my best, meditation helps. We go to the sign right here, Chance. It looks like he ripped this off like a milk carton or something like that. Do not disturb. Do you ever put a sign like this up on your door?
Not that I can remember.
Especially when you know you have ESPN coming over. Would you ever put up a do not disturb sign?
No.
No? Yeah, I didn't think I would either.
I mean, we can just turn off our doorbell if we want.
Okay, so now we go to, he's doing the cha-cha slide outside here. Zoom up, a close-up on the feet. What's going on here?
That was more like the sumo like intro to me. Like dunk, dunk.
Right. Okay, Chance. If ESPN said they're coming over to shoot a meditation scene with you, what would you put on? What would you wear?
A chip leader coaching shirt.
Fiesta Bowl, Miami, University of Miami versus Ohio State on? You're telling me?
Well, here's something we should really point out as well. Look how big, like how high his knees are. If you actually did a yoga practice, they'd be so much lower to the ground. He's never done this before in his life.
Why are his eyes open? I mean,
I don't know.
His posture is nice though. He does have good posture.
Mm-hmm. Sitting up straight.
All right, I really like this next shot, guys. Pay attention to this one. Watch this. You are blessed, he says. The zoom in. I like that. That's nice camera work right there. You have to expect great things to happen, he says.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to believe that. And then we go to this sign. Great things always happen to me. A nice affirmation. Okay. And here's
also, if I was going to have these signs put up in my house, I would either have my wife write it or I'd print it off the computer so it didn't look like chicken scratch. But
right. Do you also have your bracelet winning photo on your mirror when you brush your teeth?
that's on his mirror?
Bro, this is where it starts to get a little crazy, okay?
Dude, I don't even know where my bracelet is.
Well, so he's got the duct tape with the photo on here with the bracelet. And then it goes to this. It's not over.
God, I love Phil so much.
Can we go one back? We got to wind this back. Let's slow this down, Chance. All right. I want you guys out there, pay attention real quick. All right. Pay attention right here. It's going to come fast. It's going to come furious. Pay attention. Okay. Watch this. Boom. It's going to fall down the chin. Boom. Right there. It hits the chin right there. We run that back one more time. Is this how you brush your teeth, Chance?
Not even close.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out.
That was a good breeze right there.
Listen, I'm just trying to figure out, was it his, did they shoot the scene for the toothpaste and they ran it back? He's like, that's the one. Did they shoot it more than once? I just got a lot of questions about this scene, and I'm not making fun of the scene. I like it. The message is nice. Positivity, affirmations, meditation. This is how you be successful. I'm not saying that.
Oh, he's not wrong. These are important things.
Right. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying the message is bad. I'm just saying, why the fuck did it have to have this other stuff in the video? And I'm not saying I don't like the video either. I'm not trying to be mean. If Chance made a video like this, I'd be asking him the same goddamn questions. All right.
That's a big if, my friend.
Okay. If Doug makes this video the next time he comes in the podcast, I'm going to ask him why toothpaste is running down his fucking face.
You should actually try to get Doug or someone else to make their version of that same length to the best of their ability. Some funny yoga pose that they've clearly never done before. The shirtless on like.
Why is he shirtless and pants on the balcony? Like, what's going on? And they wonder why poker's dying. We got rid of segments like this.
Yeah, like this could have gone on the nuts segment from ESPN.
Right. Like, think about why poker was so popular. Listen, as ridiculous as this is, we get to know a lot about him from this video.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. I mean, this is what it is, guys.
I mean, we got to know a lot more about D-Negs from one picture, but
what did we learn? What's our takeaway?
I don't know.
What's our takeaway here? What's our takeaway? Do we have one?
That Daniel needs a bigger pool.
Yeah, I'm surprised by the pool size. You'd think. I didn't even notice there's a pool in this photo, to be honest with you. Chance T pointed it out. So.
All right, come on. Let's move on from junk picks. What else we got? I mean, there's so much to talk about there, but.
All right, guys. Let's give some questions out there in the chat, guys. You guys have a couple of questions for Chad.
I think Joey's just trying to like increase his reach to females with these last two clips.
The problem is that I only have 98% male audience, so I really would like to reach out to more women. I don't know if this is going to do it or not, but I'm led to believe it will. Listen, I'm led to believe it will. Okay.
All right.
I'm led to believe it will. Give me some questions in the chat, guys. You have a shout out you want to give, Chance?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Paul Dobb and I don't want to butcher the website.
Okay.
I know poker players like to do a lot of charitable things, and I actually believe that this is a really good option. It's the visualsnowinitiative.org. Just like imagine like going through life and having your vision impaired, whether your eyes are open and closed. Like, I just think it's a really good cause. And even if I win the bet, I'm going to make a fairly large donation to the site. I think it's something that should be solved.
So where can they donate at?
Visualsnowinitiative.org.
Okay. Visualsnowinitiative.org.
Yeah. And like, the shout out to him is just thank you for getting my life back on track for me. Like, I'm so much happier with who I am as a person now than I was 8 months ago.
That's awesome, man. I think that's a good message to spread out there too, is that the idea of trying to clean up your life a little bit, maybe get rid of some of these habits that are a little more out of line and focus more on your health and focus more on your fitness and try to be an inspiration for people out there when it comes to that, rather than be an inspiration for destruction, be an inspiration for whatever the opposite of destruction is. I'm drawing a blank on what that word might be right now. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to work out more. I'm trying to be more. I'm trying to lay off the marijuana, as they call it out here in Nevada. It's been about 10 days since I went to run up Reno. I've been a machine. Obviously, people can tell. So trying to be that sort of more inspiration for people out there, I think, is a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Let me see here. I'm going to give a couple of shout outs, man. Who we got out there in the chat? We got my guy, Jay Smith 84 Poker. What up, Big Pop? B. What's going on, brother? Harbs is in the chat as always. My guy Landon Tice, the moderators, always holding it down. My girl Sasha in the chat. What's up, Mamacita? What's happening, Sasha? Andrew Neilding out there. The Cake, Malcolm Price, balls deep, going balls deep on things. Dean Nelson, Poker Music. Dan, I don't know how to say your last name still. Dan Smauskowitz, who's very nice to me consistently on Twitter. Shout out to Dan. Nice and sunny out there. My boy Coop, Nathan Cooper, Air Track. What up, Papi? Holla at me one time, player. What up, player? What's happening, brother? AJ Ren. Hey, Papi. First time live. What's going on, AJ? Rachel Lee's in the chat. Papi. What's up, Rachel? What's going on? How's it going? Welcome to the podcast. My man, Brandon Shaq Harris out there. Morning, Joey and Chance. What's up, Brandon? What's going on?
I love Brandon. So like, because I have that big bet with Paul, I didn't want to like become complacent in my training. So I have like a ton of other bets that are like workout X times per week, reduce body fat from A to B. And so shout out Brandon Shaq Harris and every other person who bet me on the side for my workout bet, because I am free rolling. I'm working out like 8 to 12 hours a week, and I'm definitely going to meet all my goals. So
you're only working out 8 to 12 hours a week?
Yeah.
Bro, if I had this, I don't want to say that. I used to have heart. I don't want to make that.
My body can't take anymore, man. I'm fighting off injuries.
You got a foam roller, Chance, or no?
I have 2 foam rollers, a lacrosse ball thing that goes around the sock, like in a sock, like that you put around your spine, and then another one for the shoulder injury that I have. So I have masseuse twice a week and physical therapy and morning yoga with Emily every day. And I'm trying to repair this injury that I have, but it's been hard.
Yeah, bro, it's tough when you're training for something and you can't really take that much time off, but you got a little something in your shoulder that only can get better with rest oftentimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I actually just got a text from Phil Hellmuth, and he asks, he wants to post I made a video of him about the Colin Kaepernick Nike commercial. I made a commercial for him, but instead it's the same thing, but it's of Phil Hellmuth.
Nice.
He said it was like his favorite video he's ever seen. He wants to post it on Twitter, but he doesn't know how because it's 55 seconds long. And I said, just extend the thing at the bottom because it comes up and it cuts it off automatically. I go, take it and extend it so you can post it. So he wants to post it. So I hope Phil gets a chance to post it because that video is amazing.
He wants to do it himself.
I love Phil. Shout out to Phil Hellmuth, man.
Oh man, he's one of my favorite players all around. Like one of the like things in my poker career that I'll never forget was like I got to play heads up with Phil. And like we were drinking and it was late at LAPC one year and we were actually playing no limit and no limit single draw heads up. And we were drinking and like Elliot Lesser came by and like a few other of those like old big name pros. And I was like, this is pretty cool. Like it's so much fun to just needle him the whole time. And like, we have a pretty good relationship. He's a fun guy.
It's like I think that's the right of poker players to needle him a little bit. I don't know. It's like everyone, you kind of have to do it.
Well, I mean, he creates this persona for a variety of reasons. And, you know, he kind of asked for it. Like, he's so much fun.
I think, you know, I don't mind a little needle. Because I throw some sarcasm out there. I get it all the time. You got to be able to handle it. You take it, you give it. I think it makes things fun.
Yeah, I think needling is really important. And it's actually like a fun aspect of poker, in my opinion. Like, you know, say you're playing a high roller and like everyone has very similar edges. Well, if you can get someone to go on tilt, then all of a sudden they're going to be the loser at the table. And so there's some fun needling aspects and opportunities out there. Obviously, I think Deeb is probably the best at it. But he goes a little over the line sometimes. But
all right, let's talk about this. So Sean Deeb decided he would be the sheriff of Markup Town, recently on Twitter. What do you think about Sean, the pursuit of, I don't know, he just came out of nowhere really with the markup police thing. So Sean Deeb is the markup police. What do you think about that situation and Sean Deeb?
Well, I do think there are some serious issues with Johnny's package, where there was a caption at the bottom. It's like, if I play less than X percent, or like for 45K in tournaments, then everyone's percents will be increased. And I'm like, well, if you're selling 50% and you only play 20K in buy-ins, that means you've sold more than 100% of yourself. So like, clearly it's from his lack of experience in that regard. I don't think he was trying to like, fuck people over or even oversell himself accidentally. If say he makes like say he plays 4 tournaments that totals like 10K in buy-ins, he goes really deep in all of them and then doesn't play most of his schedule because of the overlaps and stuff. Well, then he's going to have sold like 150% of himself and have good results. Like, you really should have thought that through. And, so that did need to be policed to some extent. But I think that like Twitter kind of nailed this particular topic where like, if I'm selling you something, like as a customer and like a business relationship, it's much different than if like we're partners. Like if I'm buying a piece of you, or you're buying a piece of me, like we're partners in this enterprise, and the goal should be for both of us to profit. And so when people are selling it too high of a markup and it's purely like a price gouge, like, hey, everyone buys through the WSOP, let me get as high of a markup as I can. Yeah, I mean, that's not the best relationship to have with people. One, because they're not going to want to buy in the future. And then you're going to have trouble selling when you want to take shots and stuff like that. And so like, to get back to like the question about Sean Deeb, like if anyone should be the sheriff of markup, it's probably him. He doesn't give a shit about what other people think and just going to hop in there and say, no, you fucking suck. Like you should be selling at 0.9. What the hell are you doing at 1.4? And so, I mean, it's definitely entertaining to some extent. And I think that Twitter actually kind of nailed that one for once.
So what do you think about the idea of, because I had Johnny on the podcast, talked about it with him last Saturday. What do you think about the idea that how do we really know what his ROI is in this situation? How do we know that he's selling at too high of markup for people out there?
Oh, we have no idea.
Right.
I mean, it's just pure speculating. Speculation. Thank you. So, I mean, maybe he would be really good at tournaments. Who knows? Maybe he's just naturally good at them. It is unlikely he's beating his markups. But it's also like, I mean, I didn't remember reading the whole like presentation. Was it like, hey guys, like buy a piece of me, like we're going to make money? Or was it like, hey guys, enjoy a summer sweat? So like, I think that how it was wrapped.
Particularly, no, I don't think I didn't read the original package. I kind of stayed out of that. The dramatic stuff happened on Twitter. I'm just like, I'm getting the fuck out of this thing. So
yeah. So it just kind of depends like how it was presented, because like, Hellmuth selling at 1.2 for the 10K turbo that he's probably losing in the field is kind of an interesting perspective, where like a lot of the people buying of him on like Stake Kings or whatever, they don't care that he's losing. They just want to have like a sweat of this like big name pro so they can tell their friends. Like, do you think they're like, hey, I invested $100 and I bet it's worth 120? Like, I know I got a 20% ROI. Or do you think they're having a conversation saying, dude, look, he's in the final 10. I got 2%. Like, that's how they're thinking about the situation. And so I think that the people, like, I mean, if you have like, I mean, it just kind of depends like what someone's motivation is to be selling. Are they selling to widen their brand and stuff like that? Or are they selling to make a package that's lucrative for everyone? So it's kind of a gray area in my opinion.
I mean, obviously you buy a lot of action, whether it's from, I mean, when I say a lot of action, I'm understating it, because it's a lot of action. So when you won't believe what's on this left-hand monitor. It's making me cough right now. Let me take this picture off. But when you're buying action, Chance, what goes to, like, what's your approach to it? What are you thinking about? How are you trying to decide if you think something's going to be a plus if you buy?
Well, oftentimes it's experience if I've been there before. So like the two that come to mind that a lot of CLC students will sell for is like Windstar or Cherokee, and the quality of play in those areas, not sure why, it's just so low that I'm just like, I mean, this has to be a good buy. So that's one criteria. Oftentimes I get to, like, I'm fortunate enough to be able to ask who their coach, like, hey, what do you think about this? Is this guy being in the field? And like, I'll get responses like, he hasn't really booked any one-on-ones. I haven't seen him in any group lessons. Or sometimes we get an answer that's like, he shows up to all the group lessons. He asks really good questions. I think he might have this leak, and this leak, you know? So it just kind of depends on the answer I get back. Like years ago, I've kind of just been like blindly gambling because I had so much success buying action. But now that I'm buying for the chip leader capital fund, I'm much more selective about it and stuff like that. Like sometimes I'll be buying action that I'm not sure is plus EV. It's like a friend of mine. So I won't even like sell it to the fund. I'll just take it personally because like I feel like a strong obligation to make sure any action I buy for the fund is plus EV. So it's kind of.
How's the fund? How's the fund work? What's that about?
We raise some money just to invest in players. We stake about 5 to 6 guys. We buy action of countless, and you know, it just kind of depends. Like if people approach me or people I'm close to, CLC coaches, etc., like they know that it exists, and so they'll forward it my way if they don't want to take it, or if you know, sometimes someone's selling 40% and they're like, hey, I only want 10 or 20, but I think if we buy it all together, we can get a better price. And so we also have power in like how much money we have to buy action, which often negotiates markups because of the ease of selling to one person or entity, which will allow us to get a better price and a higher ROI on our buys.
And also you do give the value of being willing to communicate with the people you buy action from too, if they might have a question or if they go make a deep run or if they run into a spot as well too, which is some added value that you offer compared to if they sell to a bunch of random people like that, they're not going to be able to get that sort of value from those people. Whereas if they sell to you, they do get that.
Yeah, I do think like selling to people in like the higher level of poker allows you to get those like deep sweats. You know, I'm not necessarily going to give you a live tell on someone at your day one table, but you make that final table, I'll be like, oh, when he does this, he doesn't have anything, you know? So that type of thing is definitely relevant. Or it's like, oh, this is a situation where you have to play really tight or you should play really aggressive, that it's kind of second nature to someone who's played a lot. But and like once they hear it, they're like, oh, that makes total sense. But they just wouldn't think of it on their own all the time. Right. And so there's definitely some opportunities for who you're selling to as well.
Dan asks, Dan, I don't want to say your last name, brother. You got to let me know. Dan says, what sort of prerequisites do people need to be considered for CLC?
Ooh, good question. So each group level has different prerequisites. So the 3 packages we offer, one-on-one and group coaching, are the 500K level, 250K, and 100K level. I think for the 100K level, you have to play approximately, and can't hold me to this, I might be off, 5K in buy-ins on average a month, and then 10K and 20K as you go up the tiers. And then that's like, you know, since a lot of people have trouble qualifying for that, that's one of the reasons that we are starting to come out with products and, you know, fill those voids and what people want from us that we're not currently able to offer.
Are you still taking applications right now?
Yeah, of course.
You want to sign up? And by the way, guys, if you're gonna apply for this, and so first of all, we only want winning players there. So if you're a losing player, just don't tell them you came from Doug's channel, Doug Polk's channel. No,
that's not true. Like if someone plays 40K in buy-ins a month and they're losing 25%, like they're still playing enough, and they would still have a big upside. So like if you are a losing player, you just need to have a much higher volume typically.
All right, if you're a losing player, tell them you came from the Poker Life podcast. Tell them Big Poppy sent you, all right? Let's do me proud, okay, mother? Come on. Please do me proud. Please do me proud, okay? Let's see. Ari Engel in the chat says, thoughts on swapping? Big shout out to Ari. Ari, one of the sickest grinders. I swear to God, I feel like this guy makes about 87 final tables a year. I mean, I don't even know if I'm exaggerating. I think he's at a final table every time, it seems like.
That's really funny he asked that question, because I was doing a couple of interviews with Joe Cotta and Joe McKeon, and that was one of the questions on my list, was how do they feel about swapping? And so there's a few different takes on it. Some people, like one end of the spectrum is like no swapping, I want all my EV, etc. One end of the spectrum is like, I like to swap out a ton because it reduces variance, blah, blah, blah. And then the other end of the spectrum is like kind of in the middle, where some people only like to swap deep or swap a little bit. And I think it kind of depends. Like if you think you're losing equity in swaps, then it probably needs to be made up in other ways. Like, well, this guy's always on my final table rail. I love cheering for him. I don't mind losing a little equity to him. And I don't know if Ari's asking the question because he asked me to swap with him in the Aussie Millions that he won, and I said no. So I don't know if it's a needle question or a sincere one. But I'm always torn. Like, it kind of depends on my current like state. Like, if I'm like, sometimes you get a big ego and you're like, I don't want to swap with anyone on the best. And then sometimes you're like getting crushed and you're like, who wants to swap? Anyone, please.
So why didn't you swap with him when he won the? If you knew if he was going to win the main event, why didn't you swap with him?
Because like 2 or 3 tournaments before that in Australia, I opened and he jammed 16 big blinds on me with 4 or 5 off on like a bubble. And it's so funny because like I really do truly respect Ari's game. Like, I think that he beats bad players probably better than like almost anyone in the world. He's definitely in the top 10 or in the top tier of that section. And so like it was purely because of that hand for sure.
I'm pretty sure Ari's made like 20 final tables this year. Where it's April 24th. I'm looking at it right now. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Jesus, man.
What the fuck is going on here? This guy's a madman. You don't swap with this guy. I don't care if he's shoving 4 or 5. This guy's a final table machine. Check this hand.
CLC's hiring more coaches, bro. We need you.
Oh, look at this. Wait, I missed. No, I missed one. Okay, so we got the Aussie Millions win, a second place in a horse, a second. This guy's a versatile motherfucker. A second place in a Big O, Omaha 8, Omaha 8. A second place in an 08, a second place in a hold, or fifth place in a mixed event, a hold'em and PLO, another 08, some hold'em in here, another 08. This guy's an 08 machine. You got to bring this guy on for 08 coaching on the site.
I know.
Jesus, a high roller, another 6-handed tournament, and a main event.
CLC 2020 Ari Engel releases Omaha 8.
This guy's a goddamn machine, man.
Yeah, I mean he's one of the sickest grinders in the game for sure. Always had a lot of respect for Ari.
What the hell? I'm scared to look at 2018. I don't even want to roll through this, man. This guy's a cashing machine.
No, Ari gets it done, man. He's not afraid either.
That's sick, man. That's awesome. Wow. And this is the guy you wouldn't swap with, huh? 4 or 5 offsuit, huh?
Double suited, as you would say.
To be fair, if somebody shows 4 or 5 offsuit with me and then tries to swap with me, I'm gonna I might not swap with them.
It was like 2 days later, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to?" I'm like, I don't know.
You're like, listen, if you promise me not to fucking shove all of them with the 4 or 5 offsuit for 13 big blind. So is that not the program that I've been using doesn't say that GTO? But no. Listen. I go back to something Foxon said on the podcast yesterday. Sometimes he had a live read. So Foxon knew he threw up at the king 3 that one hand. He talked about the guy was opening up Jack 8, and D Peters woke up with the ace queen in the big blind, and then Fedor a couple days later said, "Are you going to 3-bet me with the king 3?" So what maybe Ari picked up on something from you. He could tell you that you were weak. He knew, but maybe he just made a wrong read. Did you called? What'd you have?
Yeah, I had ace queen or ace king.
And you were eliminated, right?
No, I stacked him.
Oh, okay.
I ran so pure that year. I think I made like 4 final tables in the events there. I cashed every single event I played except for the main. I showered Ari's swapping, and like I won the 25K. Like, it was an absurd trip. So I was probably feeling myself as well. So I was like, no, I don't need to swap with anyone. I'm the best.
That big dick energy was rolling through your body.
Yeah. 2 months later, I'm begging for swaps in the registration line.
You want to come coach, Ari? We got a spot open. My other times changed. 2 months later, here it is, man. You're working out. You're working out every day. You're not drinking, and you're soliciting here in the chat right now. I don't think this is the real Ari, though. It might not be. It could be. Sasha thinks I don't think the real one. Why do we think it's the wrong one? Very curious about that. He had that Negreanu.
The fact that a question was asked about swapping, I think like it might have been leading up to the conversation we just had. Yeah, so I could see it being
I mean, really weird. A fake Ari Engel account in the YouTube chat asking that question
just nails it on the head. If that guy's a fake, 2 points.
Just spot on, man. He's not. Sasha thinks it's not. Okay. All right. Let's move on to another question then. Sam Havel says, "What's the softest tournament that he plays every year?" Wait, what do you think the softest tournaments are in general that exist around here?
Around Vegas or just in general?
Around in general, and then
I've heard I think it's got to be like Choctaw.
Choctaw.
Yeah, the Choctaw WPT is just spectacular. All of the WSOP circuit events are like really good for that, like 1,500 to 3 or 4K range. The Seminole Hard Rock has some pretty special events down there as well. I actually believe that the Vegas tournament, like, random stuff here is actually like tough compared. So a 1650 here in Vegas is going to be considerably tougher than a 1650 anywhere else, just because there are so many professionals that are here.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because you got to think Choctaw, what's that, in the middle of Oklahoma or something like that? Whereas the wind's down the street right here. So you're going to get the guys that Ryan LaPlante, who are going to come out. I mean, Ryan LaPlante's playing some 375 at the Venetian, whereas is Ryan LaPlante and an equivalent of that going to the 375 in Choctaw? Probably not, when there's some sort of event like that there. So
yeah,
that would make sense that those probably are going to be some higher value. I think any spot, any location that's just far away from where professionals are at is probably going to be a high value spot. But then you got to think that there's so many tournament series going on that you can get overwhelmed by trying to find the value, it seems like. And then that becomes its whole little thing where you constantly seek out the best value spots. And there's just
it's also the frequency in which they play, like, have stops there. So like in Choctaw, it's just like twice a year, nothing, no poker anyway, so like a lot of those people play so rarely, their learning curve is so much lower. But then, like, even the recreational players that play here in Vegas, for example, like, they can play anytime they want. They're still going to get better faster than those in Choctaw.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point too. Yeah, when you're playing against the better players, you are going to get better. And I think that's like a cash game thing I have, where, people in Texas, they say, oh, well, the games are so good here. Well, poker just became recently legal there. And how could the skill level be that high? And I mean, it's a big reason why American players are behind rest of the world players, is that American players are competing against other Americans in ACR, whereas the best players are competing against the best players from all around the world. So naturally the skill level is going to rise when you're competing against other great players. And when you're competing against weaker players, your skill level is naturally not going to be that high.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons that, like, the average American reg is probably not as good as the average, Canadian reg, just because, like, they're playing in tough online poker pools. Like, they have to improve to survive. While, like, if you're like an average American reg, you can play like a 1600 circuit event in whatever city that it goes to, and you don't have to be good to crush that field. Like, you can be like good, you can be fine, and you're going to do incredibly well on average. But like, if you're going to play the $200 buy-in range or $500 buy-in range online, like, those players would get destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say that, like, the average reg that plays a 1650 circuit is going to be probably a 20% negative ROI in a tough 500 online.
500 online is no joke, right? That's like you got the big, no joke, man. That's the best players in the world are playing.
I mean, I have like every single person at every single table marked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I don't even play that often. No, it's just the same people. It's 300 entries, 200 like individual entries, like individual players, and they all know what they're doing to an extent. Like, everyone has leaks that you need to like figure out and exploit. Like, if this guy's too wide, then I'm going to shove on him wider, or that type of stuff. This guy's way too tight, I'm just going to fold the top of my calling range or the bottom of my calling range. So there are different exploits against different players, but I mean, those guys are pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm. We do have confirmation, the real Ari Angle in the chat right now. Big shout out to Ari. Sasha, I don't know, Sasha out of line with her accusation that's not the real Ari Angle, thinking about multi-account in the chat and breaking terms of service.
I mean, it just had to be, or like, how would that troll get so lucky if it's not him? just to nail the swapping needle and be a troll, that'd be such a unique occurrence.
That's a very rare get the needle to not only merge. It was a sick merge because he not only got a great question in, but also got the sick needle in on you too.
And I didn't realize at first the needle. I was like, wait a minute. That only cost me 25 grand for the 2% I said no to.
He said it was not a troll, genuinely curious on swap strat. Well, it led to a great answer. So
it was a brilliant question all around.
I appreciated quite the question. Justin Saliba, who does Chance think are the top three? Okay, I guess this question is a good thought. Who does Chance think the top three Noman Home players in the world are currently?
I'm obviously going to pick Alex Hoxton for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, Petrangelo's incredible. I think, but more from like a GTO approach. I think that he actually has trouble exploiting, but his in-depth understanding of the game is absolutely among the best in the world. And then I'm really not sure. Like, I haven't played the high roller circuit in a year or two. Those are just the two guys that I'm closest to, and I know that are just crush the high stakes.
I'm going to go all in Pav. I think all in Pav. I'm going to rank him right now number 3 on that list.
Oh, he's sweet.
Yeah, up and coming young kid. Mr. Original member of Grind Nation, our old esports team that me and Doug came up with, that we didn't exactly know what we're doing, and it didn't make much sense at the time, but we did have some future crushers in that group. And I think all in Pav, I'm going to go 3rd on my list. I think Fox, maybe I'd put Pav over Fox in 2, maybe put Pav 1, and then maybe we'll go Fox in 2, and then we'll go
Petrangelo.
It's not Petrangelo.
I thought it was Petrangelo, but I'm really good at saying names wrong.
I am good at saying names wrong too. I actually might be an end boss at mispronouncing people's names. So it's a great talent, and I'm happy to have that talent to disrespect someone's name, because I don't know how to fucking not pronounce the name.
How are you at remembering people's names when you like introduce yourself?
Wow.
I'm the worst in the world. Like,
can we talk about this for a second?
Sure.
So,
Emily and I have this thing where, like, if I say this is my wife Emily, that means ask them their name.
That's what I do too.
I have no clue.
When I was at Jonah at PC, I go, Jonah, listen, ask everyone's name when you meet them, okay? When you go up to them, just be like, oh, like, hey, what's your name? Every time. Because I don't know. I don't know what happened to my brain is like overloaded with too much information. I just cannot remember names, even if I don't remember faces, because especially when you meet so many people, and I imagine for you play with so many people and see so many people, like, I don't know if is it possible to remember but what's the etiquette when someone comes up to you and they're like, yo, what's up, bro? What's up, Chance? And you're like,
so I balance my range here. So I say like buddy and bro and stuff like that all the time, even to my good friends, because I use that with people who, hey, Chance, how are you? Hey, bro, good to see you. Because it's just, I know so rarely. And like, it's gotten to the point where like, I'll ask again. And like if I say nice to see you versus nice to meet you, I think I'm wrong 95% of the time. I either haven't met them when I say nice to see you again, or I'm just literally wrong every single time. And so I've almost just stopped trying. I need to figure out like a good bland response to stuff like that.
So I actually got a quick story that I had happen at the Commerce here, because I saw Byron Caverman, right? And I was pretty, a little high at the time. And I go up to him like, oh, Byron, what's up, man? Like, what's going on? I was like, how you been? And then he's like, and we were talking about something. I asked him a question. He's like, do you remember us just talking at Whole Foods a couple weeks back? I'm like, man, what the hell's wrong with me? Like, how did because I talked to him and his girl there for like 25 minutes at the Whole Foods. I was like, man, I'm losing my fucking mind, bro. I can't, like, if you're high and you have conversations, are you not? Because I'm a newbie to this kind of thing like that. I might be retired, to be honest with you, but are you supposed to not remember things that you have conversations you have when you're under the influence of marijuana?
I've heard it does affect the short-term memory. So obviously, like, submitting those names to your mind will get kind of forgotten. But I lack it sober too. Like, maybe I damaged it from some years of weed smoking, and it's just never going to come back. But there's actually this brain game on like a site called lumosity.com where like I purchased like the lifetime membership a while ago. Obviously, I hardly ever use it, but they have like a name game where the names of the characters will keep coming back, and it helps you like theoretically do this, because like the mind is like a really cool muscle in general, where like, muscles can be strengthened. And so like, just because we are bad at remembering names or conversations doesn't mean we can't get better at that. We just have to work harder to do so.
Right.
And so, theoretically, I'd like to spend 5 minutes a day playing that game and improving that skill. But theory versus application, it's easy to say I want to do it, and it's hard to do it.
Yeah, I can remember poker hands though.
Oh man, I can tell you if the turn was a 3 of clubs or a 3 of spades, but I can't tell the guy's name I met 6 times. It's embarrassing, man. That's
what I'm saying. How can you remember hands so well but can't remember the names thing? I don't know.
I can remember sizings and exact turn cards from hands so long ago.
I have a theory. My theory is that maybe we're more focused in when we're playing poker, and we have more locked in focus. We're just boom. Whereas when we're meeting people, we're so distracted, and the inputs are just ramped up these days. And we have so much on our mind with social media that our ability to be focused in when we're not trying to, it's just that much more challenging, that when we have these casual conversations, we're just not paying attention to it. Whereas when we're playing poker, we're so locked in that our ability to remember that is higher, but the casual conversation, we're just kind of going through the flow, going with the motions, and we're not really paying that much attention. And it's kind of just this no effort sort of situation.
Yeah, I've considered that because, like, I mean, I've gotten called Chase so many times that now it's kind of like, you know, dwelled into, or like, you know, droned into me that, like, when I introduce myself, I'm like, hi, I'm Chance. And I'm focused like so much on saying my name clearly because people have called me Chase so many times, that maybe I'm focused on saying my name instead of taking that input from them, like you're saying. But I also think about how many hand histories you've done and how many repetitions of that you've done. So you've also increased the ability to remember hands. So, I mean, I would like to think that it's a combination of the two, but I'm just guessing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe we have a mad science. Maybe Liberate's deep in the science lab. Maybe it's a good question for Liv. I feel like Liv probably knows something like this. She's Liv's a legend of the world, and big shout out to Liv. Need to have her back on the podcast. Love talking to her. People call you Chase, though. They call it Chase.
Oh, regularly. Like almost everyone I've ever met has called me Chase at least once. I think you have as well.
I don't think so.
I mean, it just rolls off the tongue.
You got a receipt, bro? Make an accusation like that? You got some proof?
I'll have to look back at their previous 2 podcasts and see.
Let me say, I wonder if I have called. I don't think I've called you because I know, because Chance is I don't know anyone else named Chance, so I'd imagine I don't think I would.
Emily's even called me Chase once.
That's just fucked up.
I mean, fortunately, it was early on in our relationship, and she didn't say a name like Fred or Drew or, you know, something like that. But yeah, she was on the right track.
What if she did call you Fred? Fred, come here. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not Fred.
Who the fuck is Fred?
Are you dating a Fred? Who the fuck is a Fred? You're a Fred poker player? I don't know a Fred. I don't know Fred. What's going on here?
Yeah.
That Freddie Deeb? You with Freddie fucking Deeb? Is that who you're dating? Freddie Deeb? That's just not a line.
I actually met Janine Deeb in college, like at a bar one day, and like, I don't know how we got, like, poker became like the topic, and she said her dad was Freddie Deeb, and I was like, oh shit, like, I just thought it was the craziest thing.
Get the hell out! You're like, get out of here! No way!
Like, no, really?
That's pretty. Do you have a rational love and respect for these older school poker players that may have been on ESPN and they're kind of still around kicking it?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say admiration, but definitely respect, just because, like, all of us who are professional pokerers, like you and me, like, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for, like, them making the full tilt jump and, like, all of those different things. Mm-hmm. And so definitely, like, a thankfulness and respect, but I would say that there's very few that I admire.
I think I may have, did I say admiration? I may have chose the wrong word. I'm not admiring Mike Matisau, but I got a lot of respect, and I have a lot of it's some word. I just have this like irrational love. It's like, oh my God, I love these people. Like, I grew up with these guys. Yeah. I watched them so much, mic them up. No, oh my God, I run so bad. These guys are such a big part of my life. Like Hoyt Allen Corkins with that sick ass cowboy hat.
Oh man,
Harrington. I mean, are you for real? Action Dan Harrington, the old man who's action.
The tightest player in the world, called Action Dan.
So that was a sarcastic nickname, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay. I actually thought he was Action.
I think that was like the second poker book I ever read was his.
Are you sure he wasn't actually Action? Is this? Are we?
Oh, I'm positive.
Okay, he's in it.
Yeah, massive.
What were some other classic nicknames we can think about here? What are some of the ones like that come to mind? Because I just go back to like Lane, back to back Flack, and
obviously Jesus Ferguson comes to mind.
The Unabomber Phil Lack. Can you imagine? Let's make his nickname a serial killer. Yeah, that guy killed a lot of people. He fucking bombed them, ruined. Let's just make him the Unabomber's nickname.
And then 10 or 15 years later, he's wearing goggles at the table and on another planet. I mean, I love Phil Lack. I mean, he is. I mean, having conversations with him nowadays is spectacular.
Yeah, Phil, yeah. We got my girl Jamie Kerstetter in the chat. What's up, Jamie? She says hi to Chance, hi to Pop.
Hey, Jamie.
Shout out to Jamie. I saw Jamie working hard over at Running Up Reno. Beautiful event, guys. If you don't have a chance to check it out, next one's coming up, I believe, in October. I'm going to be there. I'm going to make sure there's a Pop Invitational hosted by me, myself, and I there too. I'm going to try to get some more PLO stuff together because there was not enough PLO going on there, and I'm going to make sure we put a change to that in the future. So
I've never gone there. I think that'd be a fun stop.
Well, it's so close from here, and it's a good, I feel like for me, it was a good way to get away, even though you're kind of already away from the strip because where you live, it's not really on the strip and it's by the mountains and it's fucking beautiful where you're by. But for me, I don't do that enough. So going to Reno, those nice mountains, seeing all the people there and talking with people that are fans, like it was a really fun experience for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like if we turn left out of our neighborhood towards like the grocery store and stuff, it doesn't even look like Vegas. And like in the neighborhood, it doesn't at all. Like it's just so green and flowers everywhere. And then like if you go the other direction, it's just like, oh, there's the desert, there's the M Casino. Like I mean, it's cool how like the Southern Islands like area is kind of like a little niche, I guess.
Yeah, it's like out another planet sort of thing like that.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel. It feels like you're almost in like Red Rock Canyon or something.
Yeah. Alex Crypto says Pratush Badiga, God poker name or not? I actually don't know who that is. I know.
You don't know Pratt?
I know him by I know him by nickname.
Oh yeah.
PLP.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me go through the name again. Pratush Badiga. I still don't know.
I think it's Badiga, but I'm not sure.
Let me do a quick Twitter search. Hold on a second. Let me go on Twitter real quick. Pratush Badiga. I don't know who that is actually. I know him by a nickname. I just want to make sure it's the same guy I'm thinking about here. Hold on a second.
I got a good Pratt story once you're visualizing him.
All right. Let me run through this. Hold on a second. Let me actually go to his Twitter page real quick and make sure this is the guy you're thinking about here.
I know exactly who it is.
All right. Well, I just want to make sure I went out. Okay. Pratush. Yeah, right here. PLP is back. Yes, this is the guy I'm thinking about. Pratush PLP.
Oh, wow. He's back?
You know why they call him PLP, Chance?
I mean, I know what it stands for. You can say it.
Pussy loving PLP. You want to know why they call him PLP? Pratt. Nobody loves pussy more than PLP, baby. That's what they call that.
All right. So a few years ago, we're at the Crown Casino and we're all drinking some wine, you know, and our out of line days. And It's like me, him, Panzerka, Chew, like just a really like fun group, you know, we're drinking a bunch. And I would say there's like 8 people there. And like the tournament directors are buying everyone drinks and stuff. Like, you know, it's just a great place in general. If you guys haven't been, it's like the epitome to go on a tangent. Like it's the best poker stop ever. Like the Australian Open's there. They have beaches, incredible weather, beautiful women. Like when you like dream about poker and like a perfect something, like that is what that stop is. So definitely go check it out. But we're all drinking and there's probably like 8 of us there. We're all pretty sloshed at this point. And Pratt is probably the 6th drunkest person there. Like really not that bad at all. But he stands up to go to the bar to get the next bottle of wine. And because he's like has a little bit of a pigeon toe, the security guard thinks he's obliterated and kicks him out. And he was like hardly drunk at all. And I mean, everyone was like fighting for him. He was like, no, he's not even drunk. Like, you know, and I mean, it was great. Just watching him like try to fight this, but it didn't work. It was quite enjoyable.
Fucking Pratt. He's got a pigeon toe. What does that mean? He walks sideways?
He just walks like a tiny bit with his toes pointing in.
You know who Doug walks weird is Doug Polk. If you guys ever watch Doug, it doesn't make sense how he walks like with his feet out or something. I've never seen anything like it before. Like walks like this. I like every time I'm with him, I'm just like watching how he walks. And then I'm like, I walk straighter because I watch how he walks.
Is he bow-legged?
I don't know.
No, neither.
He just walks like that. It didn't make sense. I don't know. But
I've never seen him move.
Never even knew as a person. I saw that it was a Twitter personality.
I've seen him sit at poker tables, be on YouTube.
No, I don't know. I don't know why he walks like that. It just doesn't make sense. But Doug, man, Doug's killing it. You posted that photo the other day. Dude's looking good, man. I was getting a side-by-side comparison. The man is looking like a new man right now. It's sick. That is hard ass work he's been getting after it, killing it, dude. It's super impressive to see the dedication. I mean, obviously the man's a dedicated guy. We knew he's dedicated. We knew he's hardworking.
Yeah.
We knew he has that in him.
So. I mean, I'm no D Negs or Phil Hellmuth or Doug Polk. I currently do have my before and after, but I'm gonna wait till the after is a little bit further down to start posting pictures.
Will we be shirtless in these photos you're gonna be posting?
I assume that we're gonna celebrate at the pool probably end of May, and there'll probably be some suits, but. It's definitely
I'm waiting for Doug to post the shirtless photo too. I want to see the update. You know it's coming. You know he's got one. You fucking know he has one lined up. He has to.
He's got it.
He doesn't.
The spray tan first. You got to get in there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, PL. So by the way, Pertush, PLP. Maybe he means poker loving Pertush. No one loves poker more than Pratt as well too. But
well, he did take like the last 3 years off, so I don't know if it's poker.
yeah, I don't know. I'm willing to speculate it. I could go 50-50.
That's very nice of you. That's you're giving both sides of the coin there.
Yeah, I'm going 50-50. Jamie says, Chance, you look healthy as fuck. Go, 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 go. Post the damn thirst trap already. Wait a second. Let me see those biceps. Hold on a second. Let me flex them without the camera on you, buddy. Oh my God. Papi, Emily must be happy. Dang, man, you making your wife happy. Damn, Mr. Stamina over here ain't no getting tired no more, huh? Okay.
Oh man. I'm sure she's in the other room laughing right now. I'm like 99%.
The EXP points on the stamina category there, Chance. What I'm seeing, brother. I'm liking this, man. A dual, a man of many talents out there now getting better in other talents. Chance Kornuth, aka Mr. Stamina.
I've never had a nickname. I kind of like that one.
Mr. fucking Stamina. I mean, listen, you did play a 60 some hour poker session. You know, your biggest win of all time.
In the week before that, it was 56 hours, and I flew back in the next week and did it again.
Why? Why are you playing 56 hours straight?
Because it was me, Keith, like after hour, like over in the overnight part, it was like me, Keith Lear, and a dentist. I mean, yeah.
A dentist? Oh no, not a dentist.
I mean, like, but just like imagine, like, yeah, I'm not playing my A game anymore at that point, but like I'm making less mistakes than they are.
Well, how bad is this dentist? What is this? Is this like he can't be that?
I mean, you were just talking about how good games in Dallas were. Like this was 8 years ago. I mean, it was keto. It was like keto in his prime, like just blasting away. Like, I mean, it was spectacular.
The dentist, huh? Are we stereotype? If we meet someone who says they're a dentist, do we automatically assume they're
I was trying to imply that they were a recreational player.
Wait a sec. It's just a code word?
No, the guy was legitimately a dentist, but
okay. Well, I understand the implication. You played 56 hours. I get where you're coming from. Okay. 56 hours. This is a good play, an inline dentist. All right.
Yeah, it's not just me, Doug Polk, and D-Nix. Like, obviously.
You, Doug Polk, and D, you guys showing off your new physiques at the. D-Nix been working out a lot too lately, man. You see that he posted some picture a few weeks back, like these back muscles on there are coming out. He's like a new man. I think he's going to challenge Doug Polk to a fight at some point in time.
Oh God, that sounds spectacular.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Especially when whatever. I'm gonna move on.
I think you gotta make it like your calling to get like one poker fight a year. Like, remember, like it's always just going to be like a destruction. Remember, like Olivia Bousquet and JC Alvarado. Like it was just not even an option. And then who was the other one that was just
Lex Veldhouse and Elke?
Yeah, like think about this, like from the poker world, like there's going to be these beefs and random fights, and the lines are going to move between like a 2-1 favorite and even whatever. But there's always one side that's just 98%. So you need to give us a couple fights a year where we can just hustle people and make a few grand on these fights, because it might be the sharpest bet in the history of the world is betting on these poker players fighting each other. Like it's spectacular.
We all need a niche.
UFC Joey, bring him back.
I kind of want to fight somebody. I don't know, man. I'm feeling like training. I'm feeling like training for a fight. I don't know who I'd want to fight though. I don't like not like anyone, and the only person
like you and me would be fun, but like I like you too much to fight you.
I'm not fighting anybody I actually like. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. You got to like start some beef with someone that you know you can beat just to get the fight going. Be like, all right, I'm gonna start with this guy.
I'm not sure if I need to even beat them either. I don't mind taking an ass whooping. I've been in fights before. I don't mind. Makes you a tougher guy. Fuck my face up a little bit is what it is. It happens.
That's your moneymaker, bro. You don't want to damage that.
Jay Farber says I'm your Huckleberry Joe. I'm not fighting Jay Farber. Jay, Jay's a fucking unit over there. Come on. I don't want to fight Jay.
Jay is a fucking brick, and he's very well versed in the area.
See that physique of that man? Come on. Who wants to fight Jay Farber? What are you talking? I mean, it did sound like he posted them on Twitter. It sounded like he almost got into a fight at the Golden Knights game, though. But someone was being very irritating there.
Teammate was being like a dick to Panzica, and Jay just steps in and calls him out. over and over. I mean, it was.
That's the kind of guy you want on your side too. You know what I'm saying? You want a guy like a Jay Farber on your fucking side, man.
Oh yeah, Jay Farber's on my side, so I'm happy to have him.
That's what I'm saying, man. You say he's kidding. Yeah, I can't. Come on, Jay. That's a goddamn brick house. Come on.
I'm not gonna fight the guy who's shaped like this and has a bunch of tattoos and talks about jujitsu. It's just not on my list of things to do.
Is he trained? He goes to a mixed martial arts gym.
Yeah, he actually just got his purple belt maybe 6 to 8 weeks ago. Not sure the timeline, but it's a very big accomplishment in BJJ.
That's not something easy to do, man. That's super impressive.
Yeah, I mean, getting your blue is like, you know, a year of hard work, or maybe like 2, depending on the person. But like getting a purple belt is fucking hard. And,
yeah,
I mean, that's impressive.
He said people were throwing shit at us at the Sharks game, and came really close, but the overwhelming majority were friendly. Is he a Sharks fan?
Oh no, he's a Knights fan.
Okay, you're a Sharks fan at the Golden Knights Game 7 game last night. That must have got that. Then, but that whole thing, I kind of caught up in what happened. One of the most ridiculous occurrences in a hockey game, maybe of all time. It seems like. Well,
you said the name Shane earlier, so you know Shane Sigsby, right?
I know Shane. Yep.
And do you know Anthony Alberto?
Yes.
All right. Well, they actually sat behind the Blues bench last night. You saw, like, when they scored in overtime and they were celebrating, like, it was Shane and Anthony right behind them. They were like front row, sick of seats.
Were they crying?
Shane just had his phone up, like, kind of videotaping all the celebrators, but it looks like a pretty incredible game to be at.
Yeah, and Negreanu was having like a mental breakdown on Twitter, so I didn't know if like he read the comments from that photo he posted on Instagram, or if this was because of the hockey game, but. Be a little bit of both. I don't know.
Everything's a combination of things.
You need to understand that everything you do at the poker table conveys information. Bam, bam, bam. Do you ever see that masterclass ad, Chance? Is that something that ever pops up on your advertising page on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook?
Always. Like, it's constantly on there.
Do you agree that everything we do at the poker table conveys information?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Jamie said that was the most out-of-line photo. Me and Chance actually broke that photo down, Jamie.
Yeah, you're going to have to scroll back, Jamie. I think you'd enjoy it.
I'm going to post that clip on Twitter if you missed it, but me and Chance took a detailed breakdown. Chance actually told me there was a pool in the shot. I didn't even know there was a pool in the photo. I'm still taken aback by a pool being present in the picture. I didn't really notice the pool, but I can't bring it up again. Daniel only paid me to advertise the photo on here for 20 minutes. I'm not allowed to actually show the photo again until he Jay said I could go the rest of my life without ever seeing another poker player's junk, and I'd be happy. Can we make an agreement? Chance, can we just agree on something here?
Fire.
Okay. If you're a poker player, just don't post a picture of your dick on Instagram. Can we agree for the other community here?
I mean, it's literally 95+% male, so you won't see me doing it.
I'm not gonna do that either. Like, if your dick prints out, just take another photo. I don't understand. Just cameras down, put it up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like, oh, what are you doing? My dick was laying straight up. Let me put it in a normal position before I take this photo, or move the camera foot forward. Like, I don't know.
Okay, now we got a theory. New segment. Poppy presents Slut Shamer. So, are we slut shaming here? Chances in the tank. Do you think are we out of line with our shaming? Because I'm not shaming. Like I said, I like the photo. I'm not saying I don't like it.
I said it takes big balls to post a picture like that. Like, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. There's no shaming for me. I think it's impressive to do that. If you got
more power to do. More power.
You know what I'm saying? If you got the swagger to post a picture of your junk on Instagram for all your dudes to see, cool, go ahead. But
I mean, I just don't have that confidence at this point in my life. Like, maybe one day, but I probably wouldn't post the picture anyway. But I mean, I'm not shaming of it anyway.
Whatever. Let's move on. I don't want to talk more about the Canadian Hammer. Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to go back down this Canadian Hammer rabbit hole.
I think I had one more question. Alex Crypto says, Poppy, what do you think an average to decent poker player jobs do after they quit poker? That's true. Where do poker players go after they quit poker, Chance? What do you think? I know trading. A lot of poker players get into. I know a lot of guys are working in Chicago, doing day trading.
That's a good question. My brother's in marketing, digital marketing now. I really have no idea.
Yeah, me and Chance are the best person for this question, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
Turns out me and Chance aren't paying. I don't even know where people go when they quit poker. I don't really know exactly where they go. So let me go check Twitter real quick. I know you posted something out here and see. Yeah, Phil posted the video I sent him, and it's such a beautiful video. Oh my god, man!
I can't wait to look at it after this.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I went all out. I don't even know where this inspiration came from at the time, but I was really fired up with this picture I did for him. So let me see if you posted here, and let me see. By the way, guys, we're having tomorrow podcast 3 p.m. Eastern time with Daniel Strelitz. I'm saying his name correctly, right? Daniel Strelitz.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Next Monday, ACR CEO Phil Nagy sits down in the hot seat and addresses all the cheating accusations and bot accusations on his poker site. That's going to be Monday night. We're going to be doing that. Chance, I'm also going to be having on one of my favorite athletes in the entire world. Believe it or not.
Richard Seymour?
No. I mean, I do like Richard, but it's an arm wrestler. He's
an arm wrestler.
He is debatably top 2 arm wrestler in the entire world.
That's awesome. I'll have to tune in.
This guy is a fucking unit. His name is Devin Larrett. I've talked about him before. He's got the key. This guy is a machine. This guy's sick. If you watch any of the arm wrestling videos on YouTube, you'll know he crushes everyone. He just lost to this massive Russian dude. So I think they got a rematch coming up. But we reached out to him on Instagram about doing a podcast. I think he's in. So this, I mean, nice. Dude, you got to see this guy. He's a performer, man. He puts on a show when he plays. He's like kind of like angle shoots sometimes too, because when he's always like trying to get the upper hand, and he's a good coach. And
the leverage is really important in that, I think.
It is. You got to like angle shoot because like the refs there and they're holding the hands there. So
and they're just trying to get like the grips over and over. Yeah.
Trying to get the higher on the thumb grip, and then also sometimes you want to get the straps. And he's great in the straps, so he always tries to get to the straps. So he'll make you think you're gonna win, and then he'll pull out, and then he'll be like, start yelling. Here. So then they put the straps on. He's like, and then he gets them, and he'll look at the crowd. He's like, you want me to do it? And then bam, they'll just throw him down. So
that's GTO right there.
Yeah, I'm super pumped up for this podcast, and then also we're gonna have my buddy Lex Feldhaus on. I think that's gonna be next week as well too.
That makes me think of those slapping contests. Have you seen those?
Yes, I have.
The 2 guys slap each other, and the first one's like gets slapped, and the next guy slaps him and just knocks him the fuck out. I'm like, where did this come from? Like, how is this a sport?
What would be the stipulation for you to be in a slapping contest with somebody?
That it's versus a girl, like a small woman. Why would I ever want to be in a slapping contest? I guess like no, that's not true. There's some people that I'd be willing to do it. There's some people I'd be willing to take a hit from just so I could hit them.
Who?
I mean that doesn't matter.
Give me a clip.
I'm not a shade thrower.
Guys, also if you see any clips during the podcast, I'm going to try to put more of those up on social media, on my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those kind of things like that. So if you ever see a moment from a current podcast or a former podcast, you want to clip it out yourself, or if you want to point it out to me, please feel free to send me a message somewhere. Let me know, because I'm going to try to actually do things a little more efficiently and try to grow the podcast. And I really want to get it to number 1 on the iTunes category I'm in, which is games and hobbies. We got up to number 4, but we're going to need some help to overtake those nationally syndicated podcasts that have tens of thousands of dollars thrown behind them. So, but we're going to try, Chance.
You can do it.
We're going to try, buddy. I don't actually know how the algorithm works on iTunes for top podcast rankings in the categories, but we're pretty high right now. So we're going to see if we can, get to the top there.
You want to do some more shout outs? I could go pee real quick.
Yeah, go pee. I'll get some shout outs.
Cool.
My man, Zach Wilson. What's up, Zach? What's going on, brother? DMT Matrix leaving some weird comments. Not today. You're doing a pretty good job today, buddy. Nice to see you again in the chat. As always, Shako report out as a nobody poker player. I really enjoy your podcast. Much love, Shako. Much love, brother. Plato Archimedes. This is an awesome podcast, Joey. Thank you. I think Chance is making this awesome. It's very easy to have an awesome podcast when I think this is actually a secret to podcasting, guys, is that when you have on guests that you know pretty well, it usually is going to make the conversation flow a different type of way. And if you've noticed, most of the people I've had on since I came back to podcasting are all people I've known for a long time, or repeat guests, or I have a pretty good relationship with everyone I've had on. And I think that comes out in the way that we have a discussion. And you can see me and Doug know each other for over 10 years now. And I think that makes things easier and doesn't make things awkward sometimes. So we'll kind of see if I can have a great podcast with someone I've never met before or never really talked before. Like Phil Nagy, I haven't talked to that much. So we'll see how that goes. And even the arm wrestler, David Larrett, if I have him on, I've never talked to him before. So we'll see if I can still do a good podcast, even with somebody I don't really know. So I haven't done too many of those, to be honest. And usually I think in that situation, the dynamic ends up being the guest talks more than I talk. So it ends up being like 90-10, whereas in a normal podcast, it might be 60-40 sort of thing like that, which I think makes for a better conversation. Whereas the other situation, it's more like a 90-10 sometimes because the guest thinks that they're being interviewed rather than having a conversation. So the dynamic ends up being different. And that's going to be hit or miss depending on the guest a lot of times. So that's some inside strategy into podcasting for the people out there who do actually do a podcast. So Jay Smith says, Joey, if that's what PLP stands for, then what does CLC stand for? Oh, yeah.
I could think I thought of a really funny one, but I don't want to say it. Chip leader coaching.
One?
What?
Did we think of the same one?
I don't know. I'll text it to you.
Okay.
I can't say it. It's gotta be.
Is that why you made the name CLC?
No, chip leader coaching.
Are you
CLC?
sure?
We didn't even think of like the alliteration for CLC. We just thought of the name chip leader coaching.
Uh-huh. I know you're capable of bluffing me. Boy, come on, no, please don't. It's gonna be the same thing. No, that's not it. No, not it. What are you talking about? I was thinking about cock loving chance.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that that's not the one I thought of. Well played, sir. Well played.
Somebody said cunt loving chance. I guess my mind went somewhere else with that one. Okay.
I like that C word more if it's something Chance loves, but fuck, man.
Now CLC makes a lot more sense, Chance. Coaching for profits. Okay, I see your actual. Emily, huh? Okay, I see the beard here. Okay, I see what's going on here, buddy. Okay, now it makes more sense. Let's get a couple more questions, guys, in the chat. MK says, if you need people next month at Dylan Lind as a Mixskip book coming out. I actually was contacted by them, so I know all the books coming out on DNB, and we're going to be having some of those authors on the podcast. So if you guys are out there watching, and if anyone does want to come on the podcast at some point in time, or you have someone you represent that wants to come on the podcast, whether it's promote something or whatever, you can feel free to get in touch with me. I'm going to try to do 2 to 3 podcasts a week for the rest of the year. And by that, I mean, I'm going to start for the 2 months and then we'll see how I feel. And I thought against that I might run out of guests, but then I realized there's like thousands of people I want to have on. So I don't know if you can run a guest. If you do 3 a week, it's 170, 180 or something like that.
No.
So it's a lot of content, but it's really not. There's more than 180 people in poker.
That's true. But that'd be 3.5 a week.
That's true.
So
I'm ready.
I think he'll be all right.
I'm ready.
And it's already April.
That's true. Did you just start? It did just start, guys. We'll take a couple. Actually, let me go to my go-to questions here. What's a number one piece of poker advice, Chance, you'd give to poker players out there watching that they could potentially implement into their game or mindset today, right now, that would benefit them?
Work hard. Like everyone, to steal, kind of what Foxon said yesterday, like everyone just becomes complacent, especially when they have results. Like most people only study when they're having success. And so you really just do need to realize that success comes and goes, and the game will constantly evolve. And if you're not changing to evolve with it, then it's going to pass you by.
Okay. You stole Foxon's answer. You know that, right?
Yeah, it's just the obvious answer.
I should have waited to post a clip after the podcast ended.
Yeah, you could just put a little picture of my face on his and just make it easy on yourself.
I'll get my graphics guy right on that. The graphics guy I don't have. I'll get him right on there. Yeah, I think we need. How many guys you got working for you, Chance? That you manage them? Are you like the person who's in charge of it, or would that be John Bo Prey?
I think John does a lot more of that. Like he's in charge of the digital marketing side, and like for me, for example, when we're developing products, it's like I build out the lesson plan, I find the hands I want to go over, I record it, and then it just goes to Johnny, and then Brinier, who's another a guy who does our editing for us. Nick Jivkov does some editing, and they make it look pretty. Put that the icing on the cake, for example. And
then you have the boot camp coming up May 9th.
Yeah,
people can sign up for free. And then after that, there's going to be a product. What is Bracelet Hunter? Is that going to be the thing?
Yeah, Bracelet Hunter is coming out May 16th, I believe, 1 week after the CLC Summit. And I think actually very soon we're going to release one of the 5 parts online for free, so people can get a preview of what they'd be buying. So I think that we have a lot of free content coming out, and we're very proud of our content. We think it's the best, and I encourage everyone to check it out.
Have you watched and seen every other piece of content to make that statement?
Well, we talked about having, like, you have to work hard. Like, I've purchased all the products, I have studied almost all of them. And I think that it is really important, like, to work hard. Like you said,
you studied all of them, everyone. There's like
but
Jonathan Little has out 75 million books. You've read all of them?
I counted on his site the other day. I think he has like 94 products or something. And I'm like, what the fuck?
That is a product machine. I swear to God.
I'm trying to get out my first one.
He's got 94. He's going to be on the podcast in May. We're going to figure out how the hell he has so many. I mean, come on.
I mean, it is just a really profitable way to, like, hey, I did these lessons for students, so I'm just going to package them and sell them again. So it is another, like, it's a smart way to do stuff. But like the stuff we're creating, like, we have 600 videos in our archive. We could just have copy pasted those and put those together. But the stuff we're developing is literally like, we want to accomplish this task. Here's how we're going to do it. This will be individualized and worked on specifically for this. Like, we're not just repurposing our material.
Good. Would that be bad if we were?
No, I mean, I think it's fine and it's effective and profitable. But I think that it's maybe not the best option.
94 products. Get out of here.
I mean,
just making a new product a day? Like, what's going on? Him and his child just sitting around making a product. Oh, you want to write a book today, little man? Let's write a fucking book.
I mean, he works hard, man.
Guy's a machine.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize it. Like, I follow him on Twitter and such. And so I see, like, Coffee with John and stuff like that. And I think that his clientele really appeals to beginners in poker. And then we're really trying to appeal to people who want to climb the stakes.
What's a we didn't actually talk any PLO. Now I feel embarrassed. But what would be a tip, a pot limit Omaha strategy advice you might give to the people out there, Chance?
Oh man, I play so many more hands on the button and just like punish, like merged in polar, for example. Like when I was playing on like stars and like grinding a lot of PLO, I just noted the players as merged in polar on different textures. And so if someone has like a merged c-bet on King 4 deuce, they're c-betting queens, they're c-betting all their king x, they're c-betting aces, which means that their checking range is incredibly weak. And so if they have a merged c-bet, you just bet every time they check. But if they have a polar c-bet and they're more balanced and like betting pulled the top or the bottom of their range, well, they have a lot of mediums they can check call with. And so you can't just like bet 100% of your air versus those players. And so like when I was able to like 12 to 16 table on stars and like really beat the shit out of the games, it was because I had the player pool, which was like 100 to 200 people just marked as merged on this texture, polar on this texture, heads up, three ways, etc. And it just allows you to, to exploit their ranges a lot more. I'm
really happy I saved this for 2 hours in the podcast. That's perfect. Good job by me. Hey,
we could have had some good PLO chats.
Hey, Poppy, nice work. Way to save that. That was great. Real winner you are, buddy. Real nice work. What the hell's going on? You just made us a PLO podcast, man. Now you're getting me poker hard over here right now.
I mean, I haven't talked PLO in so long, man. I'm happy it came up.
Hey, I'm getting like D-Nex over here right now, man. I'm getting a poker joke right now, man. Instagram. Andrew Touchette in the chat. Hey, Chance. Hope you and Emily are well. I just jumped on now, and I'm sorry if I missed it. Do you still live in Arlington, or are you full-time in Vegas now?
We did. We built a house here in Vegas. Sorry we didn't have a chance to link up with you guys. Hope they're liking it.
Nonstop asks, can you ask him how to improve at playing multi-table final tables? How to use ICM tools effectively? And when I ask you this, I'm going to go pee because I got to drink a lot of water, okay?
Okay. Let me ponder real quick. So final tables and multi-table tournaments are very stack specific. When you have a big stack, it's really fun. You get to open a ton, you get to 3-bet all the middle stacks. And, typically if the small stacks are playing back, they have a good hand because the ICM pay jumps are pretty high. So it just really narrows their range. So you can just call off way tighter and raise fold a lot more. If you're a middle stack, you need to find spots to be active while not getting punished by the chip leader, which basically means like, all right, so like the chip leader is tight from the small blind, so I'm going to open the cutoff because that's the position I can play from more. I get to raise an early position because then he's a middle position. He's not going to play back as much. And so like when you're the middle stack, it's really important, or any stack at the table actually, it's really important to identify the steal spots that you can have, whether it's a 3-bet fold spot or an open and fold spot, and the spots that you can widen your range and pick up EV. And then when you're the short stack, it's kind of just about ICM and laddering. And so like when you are the short stack, it's like, all right, so this guy's going to bust really soon. So I have to like wait him out. And then like, maybe now that I have 14 big blinds in the average stat. Everyone else has like 30. Well, now I have to start taking these 3-bet shove spots a lot wider and really like taking the spots that are more plus chip EV instead of like plus tournament equity.
Perfect. Right up my alley. ICM. You have a question for Doug?
What
you got a question for me or what?
Can my question be what color are you?
No, no. Can you want to ask me something else, Chance, or what? You want me to play a shot at somebody?
Wait, that's Vanessa Selbst.
High quality vlogs. Yeah, my name's Vanessa Selbst. No, he's out of here. Whatever. That is what it is. I don't know why that photo's here. I made those for Table Talk, the old show me and Doug did before we would do impressions of other people, and I just.
Oh, that's fun.
It is what it is. Do we have anything else, Chance? Anything else on your mind? Anything else you want to bring up?
Nothing I could think of. No.
Do we want to look at that D-Nex photo one more time, or are we done with that photo again?
I think we beat that one up pretty well.
I don't think we beat it up enough. I'm going to be honest, Chance. I could do a full 3-hour pod just breaking down that photo.
Oh yeah, how long the swim trunks are, the color, you could just go on and on.
I don't think he's wearing swim trunks. I'm dead serious.
What do you think those are?
Those are like underwear, boxer shorts.
Maybe. I don't think so.
What is he, European? What's going on? I don't think those are swim trunks.
They gotta be swim trunks, man.
I don't think they are. I think they're. I think he's wearing like his boxers.
I think there was also some other stuff in the photo that we missed. I'm sure that we missed tons of stuff in the photo, like the pool, for example.
Are you sure there was a pool in that picture? I don't know. Whatever, guys. All right, we're going to be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time with Dan Strelitz, longtime poker player, second PCA main event, and also chip leader coach, of course, on there for Chip Leader Coaching Week. If you guys want to check out the upcoming boot camp, sign up in the link description below. If you want to apply for Chip Leader Coaching, go to chipleadercoaching.com. Sign up. Let them know you came from the Poker Live podcast, Big Poppy's podcast here. And if you want to follow Chance on Twitter and Instagram, it's at Chance's Cards as well, too. And we thank Chance a lot for coming on. It was a lot of fun, brother.
Yeah, and check out bracelethunter.com as well for more information on the summit.
Holy shit. What else are we missing?
That's it.
I'm turning into Joe Rogan with all these ads. Check out this, check out that. Give it to here. Check that out, too. It's like, oh, my God.
You got that voice here we go, Poppy. You just get into it.
Oh, my God. I just got an Alex Jones impression. I don't have a Joe Rogan impression quite yet. So, sorry, guys.
That one was funny yesterday, actually.
Oh, the Alex Jones impression?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so spot on. That guy's a goddamn, I don't know, you talk from down here, in here, and then you just talk like fucking just nonsense. The craziest thing you talk about, oh my God, no chance that the aliens are coming. They're gonna stick the probe up. It's like you talk about that, you throw in like the asshole, and then before you know it, it gets crazy fast. So that's it, guys. If you want to watch this back, you can watch it on YouTube or iTunes. Search Poker Life. It'll be up there tonight. I'm going to post some clips right now on my Twitter. The first clip's going to be me and Chance breaking down Dana Ground's recent Instagram photo in case you missed that. And whatever it is, what it is. All right, guys, that's it. Peace out.
All right.